It's that magic time of summer again. Time for golf at the Summit. In the U.S. Open and the British Open. And the PGA Championship. You'll see them all on ABC. First, the tournament to determine the champion of American golf for 1985. What is the U.S. Open? Well, I'm Jim McKay, welcoming you to our coverage, wall-to-wall again today. We'll be taking the leaders from the first tee until they putt out on 18, just all the way in the final round of the U.S. Open. It's been a fascinating story. We came here Thursday, and when a young man named T.C. Chen got a double eagle on the second hole, the first in the history of the Open, we said, what a nice sidelight to this championship that will be. But when he led at the end of the first day, we said, well, that's interesting, and what a great thing for him. He'll remember all his life that he once led the Open for a round. Well, when he led again at the end of the second day, we said, that is courage. He's a very courageous young man. Now with an actual gallery following him around the golf course, he still leads the Open. But when he led last evening and shot his third straight round under 70, it became a very different story. T.C. Chen is for real. And there he is, real and live, still on the practice tee at this moment. At the age of 26, on the threshold of becoming the United States Open golf champion. Does he really realize how big a thing this is? Quite possibly he doesn't, you know. It's a definite possibility. The last major name in American sports that I can remember who was from the island of Taiwan, except for the kids who used to win the Little League World Series all the time, was C.K. Young. Remember, he was a decathlon star who battled it out with Rafer Johnson, the United States, in the 1960 Olympics. So that's the situation. Really the focus, the spotlight on one man here at Oakland Hills, a man from halfway around the world who's been on the United States tour for a couple of years. Right now, however, he is challenged and challenged quite strenuously by a man just 2 shots behind. As we said, the man who won 7 years ago went into a slump since then, Andy North of Madison, Wisconsin, but came out yesterday playing in the rain and the wind with no hat, no rain jacket, virtually no protection at all. He came in with a fine round and his 2 shots out of the lead. There is Andy North with rounds of 70, 65 on Friday, and 70 again yesterday. We're almost ready for the final round. So Chen and North are the leaders with 18 holes left to play. But how did they get there? And who are the others who came to the fore and faded along the way? Well, let's go back to Thursday in the first round of this year's Open. There was Fred Couples from the great Northwest, a man of average height and build, but one of the long hitters on the PGA Tour, and he was in form on Thursday. Shooting a 66, which ordinarily would have been certainly good enough to win the U.S. Open. But Couples would come back the following day to get 5 under par after 7 holes, then to go 9 over on the following 11 holes and play himself, to all intents and purposes, out of the championship. But the name who came out of nowhere on Thursday was Se-Chung Chen. As we said, he had a double eagle on the second hole, and that piqued everybody's interest. They thought, what's going to happen to him after that? So often we'll see a man have a hole in one and then come apart. It wasn't the case with T.C. Chen. He shot a 65 on that day with shots like these. The young man, age 26, who took up the game at the age of 17 just 9 years ago. The next day he came out, and it was Chen all over again. Not fading, not shaking, not looking like he knew where he was. Shooting at 69, his second consecutive round under par. He's not a short hitter, although he weighs only 145 pounds. He's one of the longer hitters that we've seen here this week, getting home on par 5s on occasion with 2 shots. But on Friday, a new challenger popped up. It was Jay Haas from the PGA Tour, native of Illinois, a neighboring state to Michigan here. Nephew of Bob Goalby, who actually tied for second place the last time the championship was held here at Oakland Hills in 1961. Jay Haas, great on Friday, not so hot yesterday. In the rain and the wind, he faded back, dropped out of the picture to all intents and purposes for this title. It wouldn't be the U.S. Open, it wouldn't appear for Jay Haas. But now on Friday, Andy North also came to the fore. Andy North, out of Wisconsin, has had a long series of injuries. It hasn't simply been that he has played poorly in the last 7 years. He's had a lot of problems. Seems to be back from them now for sure, with a 65 on Friday that equaled the course record. This one almost made it 64. Saturday came. Se-Chung Chen now had trouble with his driver on the early holes. On the hole where he had the double eagle on Thursday, he was in trouble after 2 shots on a par 5 second hole. Hit this third one. Looked like an almost impossible shot. You saw his club hit the tree branch after he hit the ball, but look at the effect. Made the birdie 4 instead of what looked like probably a bogey 6. But on the next hole, he was in trouble again on the par 3, way over and to the left. It looked like he would either have to leave it in the long grass or else scull it clear across the green. One of the two. But no, he hit it just hard enough into the long grass to trickle onto the green and get into the position for a par 3. This was the way he played all afternoon long. He had his problems. He had every chance in the world to fall back, to shake, but he didn't. He made putts like this. Look at the break on that. And look how unerringly and truly it goes into the hole. Yet another birdie for T.C. Chen. 3 rounds under 70, 65, 69, and 69. Only one man has ever played all 4 rounds of the Open under 70. That was Lee Trevino at Oak Hill when he won his first U.S. Open championship. Andy North. Still yesterday, remember, on the 16th hole, very difficult par 4. He put it way on the left. Left himself a long, long putt. Well, you can see just how long it is. Must have been 75 feet, somewhere in that area. With his unusual putting stance where he grabs the club way down the shaft. And he gave it a roll. We said, gee, he's going to get that close. Did he ever? Into the hole. Andy North with rounds of 70, 65, and 70 with 1 stroke behind the leader at that point. Ended the day 2 strokes behind. Earlier today now, this was the current United States Amateur champion, Scott Verplank, at 9 over for the championship, finishing up his round to become low amateur for 1970-1985. He'll receive a gold medal for that performance. Interestingly, last year, a young man got a gold medal for tying as low amateur. His name was Rick Fair, and this year he's in a position to challenge for the championship itself. So keep an eye on Scott Verplank. Keep an eye on young David Marr here, former PGA champion, native expert on the sport. Resident expert, I should say, but he's a native also. About the white flowers, it's Father's Day, and somebody was kind enough to give these to us. Sometimes in the past, Dave, we have seen people challenge for the United States Open title, lead at the end of 3rd rounds, coming out of nowhere. Gee, on that 4th round, when the United States Open pressure sets in, we've seen their character kind of fade a little bit from the scene. Do you foresee that at all today with Chen?
I really don't, Jim. He proved to me yesterday. I didn't know that much about him and hadn't seen him play that much. He played in one of the worst days of weather I've ever seen at a U.S. Open, and he shot 69 after leading the tournament for 2 straight rounds. He really showed me yesterday he's very capable of winning, and as you pointed out earlier, I don't know that he really knows what he's doing. He said earlier in the week, he said, you know, not a Far Eastern player has ever won this tournament. Like he was amazed that no one from his part of the world had won it. Plus, the players that missed the cut, Nicklaus, Watson, a lot of guys that you look for every year to be in, Longer, the present Masters champion, the names that might be challenging a player like Chen who doesn't have the experience aren't here. You've only got Andy North, who's just coming out of a slump. Not a name that would scare someone in a way. Maybe in years past would have, but because of his slump. And the third reason, the big ball. The players all over the world, when they changed the rule in 1974 that you had to play the big ball in major championships as opposed to the small ball, it's really improved the foreign players' playing of golf.
What about the effect of yesterday's rain and terrible weather on the golf course itself? Has it changed it?
No, not at all, Jim. This course is in marvelous condition. The wind is back the way it has been all week, and I look for, if a player's going to make a move like Ballesteros or Kite or someone, they've got to get off to a good start, and you can do that at the second hole, which is downwind today and easily reachable in 2 if you put the ball in the fairway.
Well, now they're on the first hole, about to tee off. Tom Kite of Texas at even par, 7 shots out of the lead, a long way to go. But it's been done before. In 1960, a man named Arnold Palmer, a young golfer, trailed by 7 with 18 to go, and he won the title.
Main difference to me is Arnold was the kind of player that made a lot of birdies. Tom, on the other hand, is a very steady player. It would require that Chen would come back to the field, and he has really shown no signs of doing that.
On the other hand, Tom's playing companion of the day, Seve Ballesteros, makes lots of birdies.
That's right, and he certainly, you could, if you had to liken Seve to some player, it would be Arnold. Look at this, going with an iron off the first tee. Well, that shows you the wind, downwind. It's a great golf course, and it's so many of the holes that you drive on or bunker to each side. They're always in play, and you've just, as usual open deal, you got to keep it in the fairway.
It surprised you a little, though, didn't it, when he went to an iron?
Well, it really did.
Well, there he is on the left side of the fairway, considerably short of Tom Kite, obviously, because he used a very different golf club.
That's not too far short of Tom.
Okay, so they're out on the golf course. What kind of a golf course is it? Well, it's a difficult golf course, but it has its special characteristics, some of which we'll look at right now. It's a lovely course to look at. It is not quite the monster that it was in 1951 when Ben Hogan tamed it, or in his words, brought it to its knees, but it's a great golf course, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The fairways here remind me actually of a seaside course. It's hard to get a stance. It's level. There's a lot of roll on the fairways, a lot of contour, and of course the length. Look at that.
4 yards under 7,000, and they call it a par 70. There are the statistics on some of the par 4s which tell their own story. Now, the driving area, very narrow and always protected by something. If it isn't bunkers, it's water or something.
And that's a good hole. It's not very long, but a hole where the players a lot of times will use a 3-wood or a 2-iron, so it'll play longer than 405 because you're laying up off the tee. And this is a giant hole here. Be back into the wind today. You have to drive between those bunkers, and then you have a long shot uphill into this rather small green, actually. 15, a unique par 4 with the bunker in the middle of the fairway. Players, again, will lay up here because you've got to take that bunker out of play in order to get a good shot to the green on your second shot. 16, great golf hole, chosen in most All-American golf holes, picked by experts. Great second shot across the water there, and slopes of greens. Have a look at this, Jim.
You're glad we showed this again today, aren't you? Dave Marr demonstrating some of the undulations and rolls you can get here, and of course making sure he gets there in time for his ball not to hit the flagstick. Could have been a penalty. Now, the rough.
U.S. Open rough, and that means one thing to a player. You might get a lie like that you'll be able to advance somewhat, maybe not put it on the green, and then you might grab one of these, and you're just trying to get it out into the fairway.
Lanny Wadkins on the first green. Oh, not a good start for Lanny. Started at 1 over, made a double bogey there. He's now 3 over for the championship, and just about played himself right out on the first hole.
Well, that's what I mean. If anyone's going to put any pressure on this young man, it has to be somebody like a Lanny that makes a lot of birdies. But when you make double bogeys, that's no way to start a tournament, obviously, no. Or a last round of a U.S. Open.
Or a $2 Nassau, for that matter.
Well, you can always press there. Now, maybe the field would like to press Chin. I'm not too sure.
Here's Seve now on the fairway. Burst out of Spain as a teenager into the British Open. Won at a very young age. He's won it again since. He's won the Masters twice, but he has never won the U.S. Open and makes no secret of the fact that he knows he has to win this one at least once to join the greats of the game. You see lots of trees here at Oakland Hills, and they've grown a lot since 1951. As Mr. Chen found out yesterday on the second hole, 1951, of course, he wasn't even alive.
He wasn't too far along in 61 when Littler won.
Sure looks like he knew what he was doing with the iron off the tee here.
And the proper side of the fairway, well, it just shows you the wind change. Iron off the tee, and it's probably a short iron for Seve, a short iron. Let's see what Tom does.
Up to this point, Seve has done exactly what he has to do, get off to a fast start. Saw something that bothered him a bit.
Well, maybe he just wasn't quite ready. It can be a little nervous starting out, Jim, and you want to really get set, and if you don't have your mind on it, step away from it. Get set what you want to do.
Remember, he's downwind. Okay. Not as close as Seve, but safely on, Tom Kite. One of the most consistent players in the game. As you pointed out, he's a par shooter to a great extent.
And one of the hardest workers, too.
Now let's have a look at Payne Stewart. Can't see the bottoms of his +4s because he's in the bunker. Young man who's an American who first played the Asian Tour, and oh my goodness gracious! That almost brought something else out of me. I wasn't expecting that at all.
I don't think Payne was either. All right. Well, that's a neat little way to start there. Get you in the red right away.
Well, you know, the worst thing about that is that was on tape, and the guys in the truck didn't tell us what was going to happen. So, Payne Stewart goes to 1 under with that marvelous shot. That was an eagle, by the way, remember. And now Fuzzy Zoeller putting for an eagle. He's made the second green in 2. All right. So this should be a foretaste of what we might expect from Ballesteros when he gets to the second. If he should birdie the first and then have an eagle hole looking at him, things could change quickly.
That's what you have to do here, Jim. When you get the prevailing wind, you're downwind at 1 and 2. Feel like I've beat this dog to death saying it, but you have to get off to a start here because like any great golf course, the finishing holes are so tough. That's the way they build golf courses. Get you off to a nice start and build up to a finale.
Like Pebble Beach, as you mentioned yesterday. Defending champion. Well, birdie, as they say in Scotland. Moving into 2 over for the championship. He's given a very good account of himself, no matter where he finishes this year. Bad hip and all. The back is cured, now the hip is bothering him. And on he moves to the 3rd hole. Big galleries today. You know, early this morning it didn't look like they were quite as big because it was still threatening rain, a little mist in the air, but now as it gets a bit brighter, they're all coming out from home. To see Mr. Chen make his great effort.
Well, it's a great sports town, Detroit. They turn out.
Tigers have won, what, 6 in a row now, I think. And they love him. Other scores as we look at them. Good Dr. Morgan there. Mark O'Meara, Greg Norman. Now, the first green and Tom Kite. In college, he played in the shadow of Ben Crenshaw. Since coming out on the tour, it's taken a lot of years, but he's become just about as well known as Ben himself.
He deserves it too, Jim, because he's a real hard-working guy. He's one of the last ones to leave the practice tee.
Now, I think we may see some interesting things today.
Well, as I said, Tom doesn't make a lot of birdies.
As you said earlier,
1 for 1.
Your unerring expertise.
Yes.
Long years on the tour, PGA champion. Tom Kite, 1 under, 6 behind the leader, who hasn't started yet. Another look. That was just about perfect. Now Seve with a much closer opportunity.
Really has a flat putter, you notice, and his grip's a little different there, but his putter is very flat compared to a lot of people.
So what would in the odds there that Kite would make and Seve would miss?
Well, that's golf. Yesterday when they finished, Seve was in the bunker at 18, and Tom was in the bunker. Seve made 5, Tom made 3. Made his bunker shot.
Yep. Back to the first tee, because they're not all on the golf course yet. Here we have Rick Fair. A year ago, he tied for low amateur with Jay Sigel. Now he's back as a fledgling professional who hasn't qualified for the tour yet.
Tried but missed. It looked a little left.
Tied for 4th place at the moment with Payne Stewart and Tom Kite. And that's not the start that he wanted. Lots of bunkers, as we said, on the fairways in the driving area on this golf course.
The good news is it looked as though it's a little bit on the upslope, so it helps it in your swing, get it up quicker over the lip there.
Another surprise, Dave Barr out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. 2 under, he's in 3rd place, only 2 men ahead of him.
He's hit a lot of fairways, a lot of greens this week. Good tournament for David.
Ooh, let's see, and he's gone left into the rough, but sitting up with quite a good lie. Really fortunate shot, really, for Dave Barr. One more group remains to tee off. Back again at Oakland Hills for the United States Open Golf Championship of 1985. Our other colleagues, well, of course, as always, there's Jack Whitaker and Peter Ellis. Let's meet them. Jack?
Thank you very much, Jim. Peter, you know, this U.S. Open is quite different from many that I've been to in that the 3rd round, there's usually a lot of movement. People are getting in position to try and catch the leaders on Sunday. Yesterday, there was no movement at all. Andy North just about held position. And it reminds me quite a bit of this year's Kentucky Derby here when Spender Buck got out in front, and when it came time to go chase him, he was too far gone.
Well, we may see that today, of course. There were a couple of good rounds yesterday. Ballesteros missed a short putt on the last with 68. Lanny Watkins had a 69. But of course, we mustn't forget that Mr. Chen did another 69 with a missed little putt at the 17th hole. And people have very short memories because they keep saying, oh, he can't do it again. He's done it 3 times in a row. And I'm reminded of a young man back in 1968 at Oak Hills. You remember
Yes,
Lee
indeed.
Trevino with his black pants at half-mast and the red socks, and he kept doing under 70, and he can't do it, he can't do it. And we saw the birth of one of the greatest players in the history of the game. Now, whether Mr. Chen is going to be one of the greatest players, I know not. But it's like Rocky all over again, you know. It's the American dream of the kid from the wrong side of the fairways. Maybe he will become the U.S. champion. I don't know, but it promises to be a fascinating day.
It certainly does, Peter. And now let's meet our roving reporters.
I will be following T.C. Chen and Andy North as the 1985 United States Open comes to a conclusion. T.C. Chen has proved himself this week as not only a great player, but a real patient one. When he has been in trouble, he's extricated himself very well. I really look forward to seeing him play the last round. Andy North, I think, is back. He played very well yesterday, and when he did get in trouble, he got everything out of his round that he possibly could have. And I think that's a great tribute to someone playing in the kind of weather we had yesterday. Judy Rankin, what do you think about your group?
Well, I'm going to be with Rick Fair and Dave Barr today. Rick is playing in his first U.S. Open as a professional. Unfortunately, he still cannot play on the PGA Tour. He's not a card holder. I think this tournament may very well give him the confidence he needs, though, to go ahead and become a card holder and play very well on the PGA Tour. I was lucky enough to follow Dave Barr yesterday. He played extremely well, just very quietly went about his business, and could be a surprise today, I think. Ed, how about your group?
Well, Judy, I look for strange things to happen in the U.S. Open. I'm not foolish enough to say that if I were a betting man, I wouldn't bet on the leader if I had to bet on a single player. But I think there's a very good chance someone's going to come out of the pack and get started early and put a lot of pressure on these guys. And I would look for Seve Ballesteros or Tom Kite to be one of those. I'm going to be with that group. Seve's got all the shots, Tom has all the shots, and I think one of those two guys might make a run at Chen and Andy North.
Now let's go back to Jim McKay and some more golf.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. As you speak, for the first time in 2 days, the sun is shining on the 18th hole. Still a lot of clouds around, but it seems to be clearing. A good time to go to our colleague, Jack Whitaker. Jack?
Thank you, Jim. As we look up at this very F. Scott Fitzgerald type clubhouse, marvelous clubhouse, just reeking of the 1920s, when indeed it was built. And there's our leaderboard, as Mr. Chen and Mr. North are about ready to tee off. But already some heroics, 2 birdies and an eagle. Fuzzy Zeller and Tom Kite having birdies, and Payne Stewart having that marvelous eagle from the bunker at the second hole. Mr. Chen waiting for the official starter to introduce them. Final round of the 85th United States Open Golf Championship. We understand that, I don't know how much sleep Mr. Chen got. He didn't get much the Thursday night. But we do understand he found a marvelous Chinese restaurant.
For this group is Jim Pan, the president of the United States Golf Association from Ossining, New York. The observer is M.T. Johnson, a member of the
On the
USGA
left.
Executive Committee from Amarillo, Texas. The players are the United States Open champion of 1978, Andy North, Madison, Wisconsin. Taipei, Taiwan. Mr. North has the honor. Play away, please.
Well, the amenities have been observed, and the last group is about to tee off. Not a very auspicious start. Only these are the champions who led in the first 3 rounds and went on to win. Walter Hagen and Jim Barnes way back when. So that's another legend facing this young man.
Well, he's done it again, Ma, and he killed it off the first tee. Whew. He's tough, Jack. They're going to have to come get him because he doesn't look like he's a man backing up.
No, sir, and he really believes himself that he was destined to win this championship. Andy North now, whose marvelous putter yesterday kept him from real serious trouble. When he won in 1978, he also had a magic putter. Here he was at Cherry Hill in Denver, Colorado, 1978. This was on the Friday round, the second round of the tournament. Look at the size of this one. Whoa. Put him 2 under. Then at the 18th, on Saturday, yesterday, watch this. I mean 1978, of course, on the Saturday round. That one went in. And this was the last day, and this one, and look at the size. He needed this to win. The wind blowing, and he walked away from it.
This was for a bogey 5,
Yep.
if you remember, Jack, and he had dumped one in the bunker and then played this shot out. And if you could ever feel a man maybe going to PC, Dave Stockton there, who finished a stroke back. Little important putt for David and for Andy.
And then to walk off it, get himself together again, and then finally stroke it firmly back of the cup, and the championship was his. And here he is back after some back problems and elbow problems. And his putter yesterday and Friday here at Oakland Hills was something to behold. But he has put it in the bunker there to the left on this first hole. And let's ask Mr. Rosberg what the situation looks like.
For being in the bunker, Jack, he's got as good a lie as you could ask for. It's kind of a wet, sandy lie. And it's not any place that has been raked. There's been a few other players in that bunker, and if you get unlucky enough to get where it's been raked, it really would be a bad break. But he is in a spot that nobody's been, and he really has a good lie.
Now we move ahead to Ballesteros at the second hole. He got there in 2. Now we're told this is his 4th shot. And so he'll have that left for a par. Now Payne Stewart. Now to the first hole, and Andy North. And he's gone over.
That ball jumped the gallery and everything.
Well, he could be back in some heavy rough in a very unpleasant position.
Bob, that looked like a good swing and a good shot. Is it he just misjudged the wind or something that much?
It kind of looked like it, Dave. I thought that he liked it when it was in the air, and it didn't look like a bad shot at all. It didn't look like it was going to be that long, but it hit hard. Hit it really solidly.
Chen with an 8-iron to the first green. Sitting right up there. Another birdie attempt for the leader. He has seemed to be not affected whatsoever by the pressure of playing in the U.S. Open and leading it. And here's how he feels about it.
I really got some pressure, but today before I start, I just thinking, I don't want thinking must win this tournament. So, if I think must win this tournament, I maybe got more pressure. So I just try play my game and whatever, I don't mind what score I shoot. I just do my best. That's it.
And so far, his best has been good enough. Moving to the first green of the final round with a nice birdie possibility.
Well, that's what you have to try to do, Jack, what he said. It's pretty hard to keep yourself thinking that simply, though.
Well, they tell me, Dick Taylor told me that he first became aware of him at the World Amateur in 1980, where in Pinehurst, for 63 holes, he was tied with Hal Sutton as the low player and eventually finished third. So he'd only been playing golf 5 years then. Tom Kite. Par 3, third hole. Ballesteros eventually parred the second hole. As we go back now to Andy North and his problem, what is it, Bob Rosberg?
The ball actually did get caught up in the second or third row of the gallery, and it kept it on the upslope, which is a tremendous break. If it had gone any further, it would have gone down in some very bare ground, and he had almost an impossible shot. It's not the best of lies. People have been standing there, but this will put a test to somebody's nerves, playing a shot on the first hole off a sort of bare lie and a very little shot. It's only a shot of about 25 feet.
So the only thing going for him then, Rossi, he's also pitching against the wind, which is a little bit of help, isn't it?
That's right. He's pitching right up against the wind.
Another marvelous recovery shot by Andy North. He did that quite a few times yesterday.
Well, a couple of big putts coming up, though.
Mm-hmm.
Chin makes, Andy misses. All of a sudden, you've really
got a little air between them.
What'd you say about those horses?
Yeah. Not coming back. Now the gallery across the fairway, as you can see. It looks like Sunday at the U.S. Open. Now Ballesteros at the third tee. Just pin high, but off the green. Now, Chen for the birdie at first hole. Oh! That ought to buoy Andy's spirits a little bit.
Well, that helps his cause somewhat, but he still has a little work to be completed.
Par for the leader at number 1. Now the challenger for par.
He's still got one here, Jack, and it, you know, that's a big putt to make or to miss there, because a lot of times that'll really set the mood for your round and the confidence you have in that putt's going to break this much, or the speed of the greens.
Well, a bogey for Andy North, and so the distance becomes 3 strokes now, with Mr. Chen still the leader, and we'll be back.
Welcome back, and we look at Dave Barr, the Canadian, putting for a birdie. Birdie at the second. He dropped a stroke at the first, took 5 there. Rick Fair took a 2 over par 6. So they dropped a little further behind, but this for a birdie. And yes. So 5 and a 4. And back to 2 under. That's just how he started the day. Now Rick Fair. So now the gap at the top of the leaderboard there, 3 strokes, and it's almost developing into a classic match play situation between Chen and North, and unless Barr, Kite, Payne Stewart, or Ballesteros get cracking, it's going to be very much a match play situation between those two. But a few players here making a move. Had 3 scores under 70 so far today. Hal Sutton and David Graham, 68s. And the young amateur Scott Verplank, who wins the amateur medal, a 69. The other amateur, Jay Siegel, taking 80. Some more scores for you, and the figure on the right shows you how many holes they've completed in this, the final round of the 85th US Open Championship. Third tee now, and this is a cracking short hole, classic, just under 200 yards, and it was here that the PGA Championship in 1979 was settled. At tremendous playoff between David Graham and Ben Crenshaw. Very good hole indeed. Well bunkered, as you can see, quite a few considerable steps in the green, and to get the ball close to the hole is not an easy task at all. think if you were to ask any of the field of players here if they'd settle for a 3 at this hole, they would just walk straight to the 4th tee. Now that looks an innocent pin placement, but there is quite a severe slope, a step, just the other side of the flag as we look back, and the room at the top on the flat plateau isn't very large. So it's a very tricky one to get it close. Coming back a little bit into the wind left to right, a bit against. And just crept on. And more trouble for Andy North. Again, looks a good lie, Bob.
Yes, he caught a good lie again and slightly on the upslope, Peter. He should be able to get it down about 100 yards short of the green. That's a good shot down the right center of the fairway. A little closer than 100 yards, maybe 70 yards from the hole.
So Andy North on this long par 5. Well short in 2. This hole today with the wind behind, reachable in 2 strokes. There you see our little model of this hole and all those huge bunkers lying in wait.
I think Chen's only got an iron shot left. Peter, he hit another big drive. He's really killed the first 2 drives he's hit.
Yes, I fancied he'd get a 3 at the first hole and didn't, but then I thought Seve might have got a 3 there as well. Now, if he can birdie this hole, he really will have made just the sort of start he and his supporters would have wanted. Very important for him to get off to a good start, get 4 or 5 pars, or maybe sneak a birdie in the first few holes, then hold ground over that difficult patch in the middle of the 18, and then put in a good stout finish. Well, if he reaches this with an iron, well, it'll be some hitting. 527 yards. And they say that's a 3 iron. Well, if he can reach with a 3 iron, well, I don't know. He can indeed. Look at this. We really are seeing something a bit special at the moment. Whether it's going to last throughout the afternoon, I don't know. But he's got that putt for an eagle. He's 3 strokes ahead. Andy North is well short. The others are chasing, but long way behind.
Andy North's 3rd shot on the par 5 second hole at Oakland Hills. Downwind still. He went way over on the first hole. Could that have him just being a little too cautious on this second one?
I don't think so. It looked like he tried to say play a little punch shot in there, and going downwind, you would expect it to take at least one long hop, and if somebody in the gallery yelled bite, it bit all right. Drug up about 50 feet short.
Tomorrow night, the Cubs against the Mets, or San Diego against Los Angeles on ABC's Monday Night Baseball. Cubs and Mets really at it this year, along with Montreal in their division. And Saturday, junior middleweight fight. Donald Curry, one of the real names in boxing these days, going against Pablo Baez. Also, the United States Outdoor Track and Field Championship, all beginning at 4:30 Eastern and Pacific, 3:30 Central.
Well, look, this is Chen's second shot with, we were told, the 3 iron. Hands maybe a little lower than you would try to teach someone, but the thing that I like the best about this young man so far is his rhythm. Takes the club away very nicely. A lot of leg action. His right knee sort of gives way, but he gets it back into position. Now look at that club bend as he starts down. And this is strength right here. Weight on the left side. Right heel is up, but still down. It's not outside the line, and that is a beautiful swing there.
What can you say to the average golfer, Dave, about the fact that this man weighs 145 pounds and is as long as he is? There must be a moral.
Find your own rhythm and try to get good balance. In other words, you want to swing as hard as you can, but still be on balance. And I forget who it was yesterday saying you don't have to be a person with a lot of brute strength. It's how much speed can you generate through the ball, like a Chichi Rodriguez. He's been a good player a long time.
Well, Andy North off to a slow start. and very conscious of the fact that the man with whom he is head-to-head is still playing magnificently. There's the break. Not quite enough. They'll need that for a par 5. We've mentioned that Andy has had a long drought during the last 7 years. We talked to him about it. What's happened?
I haven't played very well. I've struggled a little bit. I've had some problems, but hopefully some of those are taken care of, and I probably feel better physically than I have this year than I have in probably 7 or 8 years. And it's much more fun to come to the golf course. My attitude's a lot better, and because of that, I'm playing a little bit better.
When you say problems, are they physical, mental?
Well, I've had quite a few physical things that I don't want to go into, but we all have things we have to deal with out here, and I didn't play very well because of it, and I don't think it affected my play as much as it might have my attitude about the whole world of which I was trying to play. So it's gotten a lot better. I'm enjoying playing golf this year probably for the first time in about 4 years. So if you enjoy what you're doing, you're going to play a lot better.
And now Chen for the attempt at an eagle 3 that could put him at 9 under. He's never far off. That for a birdie then would have put him at 8 under for the championship.
And it looks as though the man who is getting off to the lead is Mr. Chen.
Yeah.
He's putting a move on himself.
Hey, remember when Billy Johnson of the United States was doing so well in practice for the downhill race in the Winter Olympics? People say, yeah, well, wait. They kept waiting until he got the gold medal.
And this man here might be getting, one of his deals will be a gold medal.
1 under for the day with a 4-stroke lead now over Andy North. 6 strokes over Dave Barr, 7 over Tom Kite and Payne Stewart. And Andy has to make this.
But just think of what Chen's done. He's hit just 4 fine golf shots. Driving iron to the first and driving long iron to the second. I mean, just the way you dream about playing them. And Andy's been struggling.
All right. So he's made the par on the second hole, but still the difference is 4 strokes between them now. Well, the leaders have moved to the 3rd hole here at the U.S. Open. Sichuan Chen of Taiwan and Andy North of Wisconsin. Chen with a 4-stroke lead, and on this 3rd hole, he has not let up a bit. There you see the other leaders, Barr of Canada. Now, on tape, this is the tee shot of Sichuan Chen while we were away for the special report. 3rd hole, par 3. I believe we heard him say in English, "Get up." So he even talks to himself in English now that he's on the tour.
That's a fine golf shot there, Jim. That's.
Now we're live. Sorry, Dave.
No,
This is Andy North's long birdie attempt. Clicking of still cameras in the background as Andy leaves it very short.
They ran it by the 1st hole, 2nd hole. See, get off speed a little. Missing that first putt can kind of make you a little shaky for the rest of the round.
And Chen has another realistic attempt at a birdie. We were there in 1980 at the World Team Amateur Championship. ABC Sports was there when Mr. Chen finished 2nd to Hal Sutton. He was way behind him, as I recall, but he said, yeah, it's a great accomplishment for that guy, sure. Little did we know. Dave Barr on the 4th fairway. In 3rd place, 2 under. Whoops. See where that went.
It's on the front there.
Oh, yeah. just on the front. Now back to the leader. Just a little short, so speed from that direction must be a bit deceptive. Just the tap in for the 3, however, to keep him at 8 under, 1 under for the day.
I'm sure he'd have putted that under other conditions. He'd probably be standing in Andy's land, so he's going to wait.
Sure looks uncomfortable.
But very simple. His arms hanging straight down.
All right. Really needed that one for the par 3 to remain at 4 under for the championship. 1 over for the day. And now the tap in for Chen. All right. The lead remains at 4 with 3 holes down, 15 to go. We'll be with them all the way. No noise from Seve Ballesteros yet. You notice he's still holding fast at even par. He's 8 strokes behind. Now 4th hole, there it is.
This hole played very tough yesterday because it was against the wind. Now today, with the wind, will play a little more like it did the first 2 rounds. It's David here, putting for a birdie.
Well, he bogeyed the first, birdied the second, and had a good effort there. Won the Quad Cities Open in 1981. It's his only win on tour so far. Now back to the 4th tee. You saw the model of the hole. Coolish still. Some wind. Overcast. We saw the sun for about 5 minutes was all. Rossi, what's your general impression so far?
Well, I've seen 5 good shots I've seen in a long time, especially from a leader. I mean, he just hit every one perfectly. You can't do much better than he's done. This ball's going to have to hook.
Whoops, I believe it hit that person standing there, definitely.
Hit the lady that has the marker.
Supposed to mark
it didn't
the
hit
ball.
it very hard, though. I don't think it disturbed the shot at all. It would not have gone in the bunker, but it's perfect right now.
The lady's reason for being there is to mark the ball after it lands, but it caught her napping just a bit.
Well, she was in the right place to
Yes.
see where the ball was, but he may have been thinking a little bit about yesterday. If you remember, he hooked the ball on this hole yesterday and got behind the trees. Still made par, though. Andy's going with an iron, Rossi.
Well, he's hit 2 kind of erratic drives to start with, David, and you don't want to drive in the bunker.
No, he didn't like this one.
downwind.
He didn't like this one.
Well, that's to the left again.
It's in the bunker, Bob.
And in the bunker.
Well,
when you start laying up in trouble, Jim, you're really in trouble.
That's for sure.
Back at the United States Open, Andy North, who has been in 3 traps off the tee in the first 4 holes. Can he get home from here, Rossi?
Jack, he doesn't have too good a lie this time. He's in a spot that's been raked. Now, he's got to get it up over the lip of the bunker, and he has about 180 yards to go. I don't think that he can get it to the hole. He may get it to the front edge.
And he better be careful. He's sure it gets out.
It sort of almost ricocheted off the lip of the bunker. Hey,
he's right in the
that
middle
is
of
a
the
great
green.
shot, believe me. That ball caught the grass on the way up. Very, very close to hitting the lip.
It's also pin high.
The things they can do, Jack.
And now the leader. And he has a clear shot, Rossi, doesn't he?
Yes, he's almost perfect. He's got a lie that's like any lie in the rough, the ball is going to be hard to control because it's sitting up where he could hit it with a driver if he wanted to. I believe he's playing an 8-iron. About 165 yards, downwind, downhill. Got it going a little left. I think it's going to have to get up.
It's really
And
running,
hot.
Russ.
It's very hot.
Yeah.
Well, it had to come out that way, and it caught that little downslope there on the edge of the green.
He probably can putt it or will putt it, don't you think, David?
Well, he has a choice there. I haven't seen him play enough to know what he might choose.
Here's David Barr at 2 under. Playing the second shot at the 5th hole. Judy, how has that group been doing today?
Well, they got off to a rather poor start. The first hole was hard on both of them, but I think they've got themselves together now. They've played well the last few holes.
Dave playing with young Rick Fair. Now we're at the 6th tee, and this is, of course, Tom Kite. Tom has just sustained 2 bogeys in a row and has moved now to 1 over after that opening birdie, but puts that one not far away from the green.
Correction, that's
Now a look at Rick Fair at the 5th hole. There's a little burn going through there. And he's right by his playing partner.
Well, Jack, you want to shoot at that pin that's just over that bunker. I mean, you really want to, but as you start down, sometimes you bail out to the left away from the trouble.
Mr. Chen with a 4-shot lead over Andy North at the moment. And Ballesteros still hovering at even par. Lanny, who was 3 over after a double bogey at 1, has come back a little bit. There's some of the other scores. I'm just trying to think where I've seen more great consistent golf as this Mr. Chen has been playing, David, and I guess Raymond Floyd at the Masters is the nearest thing I can come to. He won it by 9 shots or something that week.
Well, this man, you know, he still may not win, but the shots that he's hit, as you say, you'd be hard-pressed to remember who has hit any better shots under a similar situation.
He just keeps repeating the same swing, doesn't he? Marvelous. Well,
takes a lot of work to do that. Yeah, it's just in the edge there, so, and looks relatively clean, like he could get at the back of the ball if he in fact did want to putt it.
At the 8th tee, the familiar figure of Payne Stewart, Knickerbocker, 1 under par. Drove it perfectly, and we're back now to the 4th green and the leader, Mr. Chen.
He did putt it, Jack.
And nicely. Perfect speed. That's left for par. Not quite enough, but He had it going right at it.
Jack, I can't remember an Open where so soon in the last round this man Chen really can control his own destiny now.
Very much so. In the 6th fairway, Tom Kite, second shot uphill to the shortest par 4 on the course, but a green that can give you some difficulties.
Got 140 yards or so, Jack.
What happened to Tom with those 2 bogeys, Ed?
Well, he drove but poorly at the 4th hole and couldn't get the ball on the green. And at number 5, after a perfect tee shot, he just pushed his second shot to the right with probably about a 5-iron. I was very surprised to see Tom hit that kind of a shot.
All right, we're back at 4 now for Andy North and his par putt. All right, another sigh.
Don't forget, that's a pretty good par because he laid up with an iron in the bunker.
That's right. Now David Barr for a birdie, just ahead of the leaders on the 5th green. Oh my, what a putt. Woo. Magnificent putt by Dave Barr.
Yeah, but I think you might like to have that chopped up into 6-footers
Yes.
and use them as needed.
Take another look there. Gee, this
Yeah.
thing breaks as far as a first down, I think.
About 6 feet. And I was going to say, really, it's not a realistic chance for Birdie. He's just trying to get close.
Of course, that might have been off the green, too, if it hadn't swallowed up. Mr. Chen made his par back at the 4th hole. There he is. We're also apprised that Payne Stewart had birdied the 6th hole, so he is now 2 under. Dave Barr at 3 under. And here's the 5th hole. There's a little creek going across down there.
Rossi, can he reach that creek with a drive?
David, I don't believe so. Even the wind is coming out of the right a little and is a little behind him, but I don't think he can get there. The fairways are not quite as firm as they were when you had to worry about it in the PGA in '79. That's absolutely down the water line, that one. That's, and long.
Dead solid perfect,
Well, got a bad case of the lefts.
Tee shot has been harming Andy North here in his chase of Mr. Chen, who leads in this tournament by 4 shots.
Welcome back to the final round of this year's US Open Championship. And what a sparkling last round it promises to be. Here's Payne Stewart playing the 8th, this very difficult par 4 all uphill. Second shot, 2 under par, going well. .439 yards. And a splendid shot from Payne Stewart. I've seen quite a bit of this young fella play, here and down in Australia, and very impressed with his striking. There's the central scoreboard and the excellent scorers who the patrons up to date with all the scores going on. Now Andy North at the 5th. Bob, is he okay?
Well, he has a pretty good lie, Peter, in that the grass is going toward the hole. The grain of the rough is going on toward the hole. He's going to have to shoot it at the flag because of this little tree in front of him, and then let the wind blow it back to the left into the middle of the green. I don't think he could stop it up over the bunker out of this rough.
Well, as you could see from our camera at the back of the green there, the flag is very close to the bunker. We've got a good view as the player sees it. He's got to get it over that bunker. 6-iron he's hitting. Seemed to make pretty good contact. Yeah, right in the center of the green, and you can see how receptive the greens are after that continuous rain of yesterday. That ball, although it came out of quite heavy rough, didn't move more than 2 or 3 feet. Dave Barr, the 6th hole, 8-iron. And rather fortunate just to get the spin there off that little edge, that little fringe, but not as good as he would have hoped, obviously. Now, Sei Chen, right from the ideal position here at the 5th.
Oh, he's lost it way to the right, Peter.
And squirted that over there in the trees, trying to hit a 4-iron. Now Payne Stewart at the 8th. Pretty quick putt, this one down the hill. Will it turn? Not quite. Payne Stewart 3 under par for today after 7 holes. This little putt here to par the 8th. And Chen coming up behind, although he still leads by 4. It's the first time we've seen any semblance of a mistake from him. His second shot to the 5th, which he squirted away. Some other scores for you. Danny Watkins started with a 6, but has had a couple of birdies, but just dropped another one. No, I wonder what this young fella's thinking about. Well, he's got plenty to occupy his mind today, and perhaps Bob's been able to get over there and have a look at what faces him.
I haven't got there quite yet, Peter, but he's going to have to play some kind of a low shot because there is an overhanging tree, and it's going to be very difficult to stop even if he did get it up in the air. He's coming straight downwind and straight down the hill, so he's really got a tough shot.
Well, this is a time when we'll see how much experience he's gleaned. He's 4 strokes ahead. Andy North isn't. He's on the green, and of course might well hold it long putt for a birdie, but he can afford to drop one. And I think the great thing here is in trying to get a par 4, he mustn't take 6 or 7. That's all part of learning how to play the game. That's this ball, and it doesn't look to be lying all that badly. If we just tilt up, we can see maybe what he's examining the grass there. It's interesting. Look, he's looking to see the thickness of the grass, the condition of the ground there. Now he's picturing this shot coming out under the trees, landing about here. Now, if I land the ball here, it should go to hole. That sort of thing. Quite tricky, though. He played a couple of miracle shots yesterday. Whether he can still do it, I don't know. But Payne Stewart up ahead got his par 4 at the 8th. He stays 2 under, but 6 behind Chen. Now here's a good view of what he's got to do. The ball is just about there. He's got to squirt it in between those trees. Miss the umbrella. You go to the right of the umbrella. Use that little slope, maybe. But if he gets this within 10 or 12 feet, it'll be a very good shot indeed. This is the first poor shot he's hit, and it really was quite a bad one. He had a 4-iron, and it's a pretty wayward shot for a 4-iron. It's the first miscue he's hit all day. There you see it. What a good view you get. And you can see how close the flag is to the front of the green. Lofted club, hands forward. No, it didn't come off that time. He just moved forward on it. You could see his head come up. He just didn't hit it positively. And now he's got to be very careful. He doesn't take 3 or more from here, and suddenly he's taken 6. 9th hole now, the most difficult of short holes. Payne Stewart. 217 yards. And nicely on. That was a 2-iron. Now Chen. 4th shot. He's got a little bit of a green there to land on. He's doesn't look to be lying too badly. He looks to have a sand iron in his hand. Now he's just got to make sure he keeps the body still, the hands forward, just make a firm, decisive little shot, land it on the edge of the green. Oh, he hit it twice. Oh, well. Now, Frank Hannigan, I think that was a double, if not triple hitter there.
Well, if he hit it twice, it counts as 2 strokes. Let's see on the slow-mo repeat, Peter.
I think he stubs the ground and then the club catches the ball up, which I think it'll show us very clearly. He's all right to here. He catches the grass, the club stops, and then the club comes on there and just hoiks it round to the left.
Ask Frank whose decision that is, Peter, for the viewers. How is that determined and so forth?
Now, Frank, it looked pretty obvious that he hit that only twice, but would that be his decision? Would he own up to the referee there, or would the observer say, hey, I think you hit that so many times?
Well, as a referee, the president of the USGA, Jim Hand, is with that group, and if there was a question of fact to be determined, it would be done by Jim. But I don't think that's even an issue. He hit the ball twice. He knows what everybody knows.
Yeah, he certainly didn't hit it 3 times.
No.
So here's Andy North, and what a turnaround. This is North for a birdie 3.
How and when we would find out whether what the score is.
It's pretty good too if it runs. No, short of pace. But he'll feel pretty confident that he's got his 4 virtually. He may mark this and wait. I don't know. Yes, he's... Now, say Chen has had 5 shots. And he's got a tricky little shot that he's got this down in 2 for a 7.
When will we find out for the viewers at home whether he hit it twice, if he's got to declare it himself?
I'll tell you what. Oh, what a tremendous effort. Well, he fought to get his 6, but look, it's gone 4.5 feet past. He has a rather wistful smile, but he's got some putt for a 7. And, well, there was no question. You could see there very clearly on our replay that, in fact, Chen was unfortunate enough to hit that ball twice out of the rough. Here it comes again. You'll see the backswing. You'll see him actually strike at the ball. The club tangles up in the long grass, but then releases and catches the ball up there. So it was one of those unfortunate things that sometimes can happen, and it happened there, and that was a sure sign of nerves coming in, and a very sad thing to see. And now it's interesting to see whether he can recover his composure. Frank, any further thoughts?
Well, as far as the score is concerned, if there's any question about it, Andy North, his fellow competitor, is actually keeping Chen's score.
And that's gone left, and this is going to be an 8. So, yes, unless Andy North is satisfied that the score is correct, he can say, no, I'm not going to sign it. So, but I don't think there's any real question that he hit the ball twice. So, what a difference 15 minutes makes. That's an 8. And, well, now the players up ahead are going to suddenly see that and wonder what on earth has happened. That tells the whole story. Andy North and Chen. It really is an extraordinary game, isn't it?
Now you might wait to see if there's an exchange after this hole, just a little word or two between North and Chen, but I think not. I think North knows exactly what he scored.
Wow, what a chain around, what a turnaround. He'd hit a beautiful tee shot.
See, North has got the that's his scorecard. He's got the Chen's scorecard there, and he's actually marking it down now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that Andy saw everything that happened. There'd be about 7,000 or 8,000 people there that could tell him anyway. So on they go, and that's a tragedy at the 5th for Mr. Chen. 8 strokes, so from 4 ahead he's now level, and what a test of character we're going to see now, not only from Chen, who has to recover from that crippling body blow, but also the players coming up behind. Payne Stewart, is it going to be his turn? Will Dave Barr hang on? What about Seve? Young Rick Fair is still there at even. Tom Kite, Dennis Watson. Much can happen now. The whole field have closed in, and it's almost an electrified atmosphere here. A little bit of wind getting up. You can see the flag there just moving. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I wonder what thoughts he has. Well, he said he's going to keep trying to do his best, and that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to try and steady himself and try and start hitting the ball in the middle of the club again. So, what a moment for Andy too. Andy North here at the 6th, 359 yards. Shortest par 4 on the course. That was a 102 iron, and he spanked that one away beautifully. TC Chen also with a long iron, 2 iron.
Pretty brave shot there, Peter, after that previous hole.
Yeah, well, Chen's away, and so is Andy North. But what a final few holes this is going to be. We'll take a break. Don't go far away.
In the end, one way or another, the United States Open always provides a test of character, and here it is for Tsi Chung Chen of Taiwan, leading since the very first day, since the second hole on the very first day, and suddenly in one hole, it all ran away like water through a sieve. Here was his 4th and 5th shots.
All right, there. He hits the ball, and as Peter described, he comes through with the club, and it goes up to the left. I've seen a lot of amateur players do that. Never a professional under a situation like that.
Keep following them live. They're on the hole ahead now. Andy North with his 2nd shot suddenly tied for the lead in the Open, just when everything was going wrong for him. Hitting the ball badly.
What you've just done, what TC's done, is give everybody a lot of hope. They see this. You let other people in the door. Now, I thought that after he did this, yes, Jim, there, the official there to the left is Jim Hand.
President of the USGA.
Right.
Observer with this group.
And Chen turned to him. Let's see if I remember this well.
As if to say, back to him live now.
Well, it's up to the player, and the player's going to say, I hit it twice. It's obvious the ball couldn't get over there any other way.
Now, he hit a terrible iron on the last hole. What happens here? Okay. Not the way he's been hitting the irons for 3.5 days. Drawing back.
Jim, on tour, an 8 is called a snowman and not a happy little snowman. He's got a little downturn to his what should be a smile, and that can really shake you up. Now, we talked about his character and his poise and all the things that he's done. He has really got to regroup now.
Dave Barr, suddenly a contender. A contender. He's 1 shot out of the lead on the 7th fairway. And he's playing well.
Good
Still
shot.
right there. Right there. North and Chen tie for the lead. Barr 1 back. Payne Stewart 2 back. Remember, he had an eagle out of the bunker on the second hole. Seve Ballesteros, an ominous presence. He's parred every hole so far. Some with difficulty, but he's parred them all. In position to make a move. And young Rick Fair. And Tom Kite and Watson. Suddenly, all of these people, as you say, have some hope.
Well, he's just thrown away at least 3 shots there. Now well, shows you.
Well, you know, Sandy Tatum, the former president of the USGA, has said that the secret of golf is controlling anxieties on every shot, and particularly when you come into a situation like this. Bob Rosberg is out there. Bob, have you been able to really pinpoint the scoring on that last hole?
Well, I talked to Jim Hand, the president of the USGA, about it, and he said there was no argument about it at all, that Chen talked to him about it and said he'd hit it twice, and that adds up to 8.
Sure does.
Have you ever seen a player in situations like this do that, Rossi? I mean, I've done it, you know, fooling around.
I've seen a lot of people do it, Dave. I don't think that I can ever remember anything quite like that. We saw Clampett go under the ball at Cherry Hills on the first hole, if you'll remember.
Right.
And not move it, but he didn't hit it twice.
May I get into this? I've done it many times from a bunker.
Oh, no.
To tie for the lead. Nope. That's okay. Dave Barr, who started the day 2 under, now 3 under, 1 under on today's round, despite a bogey on the first hole. Look at the determination in the face now.
Jerry, I'm taking a break at this point.
He's got a tough putt here to get close, Jim. Come on.
Oh, dear.
Come on. Look at this. See how fast that is rolling?
Yep. For the first time, you can see the the feelings in his face. He's been imperturbable up to now. What a tough turn of events for this young man. Half a world away from his home. Playing absolutely, totally consistent golf until 1 hole. And it wasn't as if he hit, 3 horrible shots or anything. He happened to put one in the rough, left it short.
But he missed it on the wrong side. If
Yep.
you missed that hole today, you had to be left, so you'd have some green to work with. To the right in those trees was the one place. It's easy to say now, but you had to be left. You saw Dave Barr and Rick Fair both to the left on that hole. Now, if Andy makes and TC should miss, all of a sudden that could be a 6-shot swing in 2 holes.
Oh. But he's got that for a par, and Chen has a lot for a par. All the way from there. I mean, Andy North looked like he was on the verge of a desperate situation. He couldn't hit the ball off the tee. As you pointed out, he tried to lay up once and went into the bunker. And suddenly in 1 hole, it all turned around.
It's the part about any sport. When you get ahead of a guy or you get out in the lead, you can't let up for a second and give the other people any hope. You've got to just, while you're out there, go ahead and kill them when you get the chance.
Pummel them. For the par. He's lost the lead.
Maybe.
It certainly appears. This then to take the lead in the U.S. Open about, what would you say, no more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes after he trailed by 4.
And seemingly couldn't get the ball in the fairway.
Andy North has taken the lead 7 years after his triumph in the U.S. Open at Cherry Hills.
Here we are with an update on what has happened in these few hours of our final round of the U.S. Open. Golf tournaments do indeed begin on Sunday afternoon. While the whole world was remarking on the beautiful consistency of this personable young Mr. Chen on his golf swing, made in Taiwan, an errant 4-iron at the 5th hole, and the whole world changed. What that quadruple bogey did was give the rest of the field a quadruple bypass, down to those who were at even par. Ballesteros and Rick Fair are only 4 shots off the lead. And a lot of the marvelous golf that was played earlier now means something else. Shots like Payne Stewart made at the 2nd hole, wherein nobody thought much of it at the time. The 2nd hole, of course, is a par 5, and he had bunkered it in 2. And here was the shot by Mr. Payne Stewart, who at the moment was 8 shots behind the leader. Taking a nice right-hand turn from the left-hand lane, and he's in there with an eagle. He picked up 2, but it didn't seem to mean much. It means very much, because Mr. Stewart is just 2 strokes off the lead in this tournament. In the meantime, the leader, Mr. Chen, was playing his same brilliant style of golf that sustained him for the first 3 rounds. Here was his shot in the 2nd hole, par 5, on in 2 with an iron. He 2-putted that for a birdie, and he was off and running. Then David Barr, 2 under, but still 6 shots off the lead, with this putt at the 5th hole, which later would become a theater of tragedy. Beautiful birdie, and he now is very much involved, being just 1 shot off the lead in this tournament. And now here is where this tournament changed radically. A double hit. 1, 2. He almost holed the next shot for a 6, trying valiantly to stop the bleeding, but of course he went on to have an 8, and our whole tournament has changed. The new leader is Andy North, and don't go away, because there's a lot of golf yet to be played.
There certainly is, and that's the way they stand. North by 1 over Dave Barr and Si Chung Chen, and the others here now have hope.
And of course we'll have more on that hostage situation on ABC News later tonight. The leaderboard for the U.S. Open. Andy North, the new leader, by 1 shot over Dave Barr and the former leader, Mr. Chen, with Payne Stewart, Ballesteros, Watkins, and Watson now all very much involved. This is on videotape at the 7th hole, Andy North's 2nd shot. In trouble off the tee again, and in the bunker with his 2nd. Chen had driven into the left rough. Sailing it up the right side, just short of the green. This is the new green, I think, this year, David, isn't it, at this hole?
Jack, I don't think so. I don't think it's you mean a new green and they
Well, I mean,
changed
they
the
pushed
position?
it back.
Yes, right. Very few changes. Just the bunker at 12 that they put in. They added a couple of tees. You don't need to do much with a course like Oakland Hills.
So now we'll have Chen's 3rd shot. My, I wonder what his heart rate is right now, huh?
I say this, that's a great shot. He's got to be thinking of that shot back at the 5th hole.
Oh. And the bogey at the hole before. But that was a very nice touch. So the battle now has been joined, although Ballesteros has just bogeyed to go 1 over. But Payne Stewart and Dave Barr inserted themselves very much into this.
I think the man you might really watch is Payne Stewart.
Andy North, 3rd shot. And here is Payne Stewart. Rather nondescript dresser.
I saw him in long pants the other day.
You didn't recognize him.
Honest to goodness, didn't. But he's got a difficult little shot here. And he can tell you something about a change, the way that he lost to Byron Nelson this year with a double bogey at the last hole to get in a playoff and then lose it to Bob Eastwood. So he knows about that kind of heartbreak. Who got a bad break there. It looked like it hit right on the fringe of the green there and just gave it a little scoot forward. That was a pretty nice shot, though. Let's see if it does, in fact, if they could freeze it right there. It looked like it just hit the edge of the carpet, just like the edge of a carpet, and shot it, because it looked like it was coming out very soft.
He's going through this series of really difficult holes, but fair holes here at Oakland Hills. It begin at 8, 9, 10, and 11. They might get a little break at 12 downwind today, but
especially Payne. Now let's see this. If it in fact lands just at the edge there, looked like it.
And just kicked it forward.
I'll have to say it did, so I'm correct, right?
Now Andy North, and this for par to remain the leader. Oh, what a brave putt. It's only the 7th hole, though.
That's right.
Does he have many of those left?
He's yes, I'm sure he does. Of course, again, at some point, TC's got to make this to, after that hole that we talked about, and then a 3-putt the next hole. And here's Dave Barr for par at 11. I don't think it's 11, but
so he'll drop back to 2. 2 shots behind Andy North. Now Chen.
Boy, he has 8, 9, and 10 left ahead of him, too. He's, come on, TC, let's get going here.
Chen is now 2, 6 over on a day, or 5 over on a day.
6 over the last 3 holes.
Par for Payne Stewart. Yes, nicely in.
Big par.
Ooh. 3-way tie between Chen, Barr, and Stewart now at 2 under. Here is the 8th hole, a very difficult challenge. It's long, it's uphill, and today it is into the wind.
And a narrow drive, because those fairway bunkers are definitely in play. Of course, in there, it's almost a cinch bogey. But even after a good drive, you've got a long iron, usually a long iron second shot uphill. There's a good look at it. Fairway slopes right to left as you're looking at it this way.
The leaderboard. All of a sudden, Lanny has been playing up and down here today. Is only
as he
5
does.
shots off, and he can streak it, All right, we're waiting for the leaders. See the moving galleries, which are quite large today. Final day of the U.S. Open. Those brown marks across the fairways will be gone by September. Now the leader, Andy North, 2 shots ahead of Chen, Barr, and Stewart. As we go now to Dave Barr. At the 9th tee. But back now to the 8th tee.
Andy hasn't hit a fairway with his driver yet, Jack.
I know. Been in the trap or the rough with it, hasn't he?
And it's getting nasty out here, too.
He doesn't like that, does he?
No. See him turn away.
That ball is way left again. He got a good break. It hit the crowd and came back where he might have a shot, not have to contend with the trees. Getting very windy out here, Jack, and getting cold again.
And you're going right into the wind on this hole, aren't you?
Yes, 8 and 9 will play very hard, and 15, 16, and 18 will be killers today.
So the leader once again badly off the tee.
Ball's in the
And so
right-hand
it's Chen.
bunker.
My. After driving like a machine for 58 holes, now he's beginning to have some problems.
You can imagine the shock to your nervous system,
Yeah.
Jack, when you do that.
This is the 9th tee on videotape. A 1-iron by Dave Barr from British Columbia. And just short of the trap in the rough. With a very, very delicate second
Well,
shot
it just
coming.
shows you how long that hole is playing.
Right into the teeth of the wind as Andy North at the moment leads by 2.
Andy North off the fairway, but as Bob Rosberg said, a very fortunate break there, coming back off the spectators. Didn't hurt anybody, and he's found a reasonably good lie. He's the championship leader by 2. And, well, we Alice's have been in golf for 60, 70 years or more. And, nothing amazes me really anymore. You think you've seen everything, and then something like this.
Boy, what a shot this is, Peter.
He smashed that, Bob, as hard as he could go, and a nice kick. Well, he took the bull by the horns there, didn't he, Bob? He gave that a tremendous crash. Great shot.
Chen is not in the bunker. He's actually in the grass and a little finger of the bunker going down into it. He got a break in as far as the lie is concerned because he'd be able to move it forward, but he doesn't have much of a stance. He's going to play a wood shot, though. He's gripped way down on a wood.
Well, if he gets a low cutter, I suppose he could chase it up the fairway.
Very hard to keep your balance, Peter. It took a nosedive as soon as they hit it.
Yeah, just beat it into the face of the bunker and trying to be too greedy, trying to do too much, and he'll have time to reflect on that little chip that he played at the 5th. Here you'll see it again. He half smothers it. All his weight's back on his right foot. He's trying to play a sort of forcing, cutting wood shot, but really takes all the loft off the club and it just drills it into the bank in front of him. It sort of half smothers it. He half tops it and smothers it, and it's a sort of top spin. It's one of those Borg top spin from the back of the court type shots that really aren't needed on a golf course. Tee shots were here. What a different address position. Although Chen's just started his club back, his hands are much lower. Club head moving away first. Andy North there in a very elegant position. Look at the width of swing there from North. And Chen back. Of course, entirely different build. Now look at the top of the backswing there, Andy North. Huge arc. How very different from TC. Now they both get in a good position there. See how similar they are now. Club head being thrown at the ball right past the chin. Chen's head coming up a little bit too soon. That's why the ball will be pushed away to the right. Here's Dave Barr now at the 9th. Missed the green. This long short hole. Flips it up. Pretty good. Very good, in fact. TC Chen, 3rd shot, and it really is all coming apart at the moment. Oh, there you see what he's got to do. Slightly uphill. That's better. No, he needs to hold this putt. He's had a couple of putts over the last 2 or 3 holes. This sort of distance that he's missed, and that's pushed him way back to 2 under. 6 strokes he's thrown away. But all is not yet lost, although Andy North is 2 ahead. Larry Watkins and Dennis Watson at 1 over are creeping up into the leaderboard. And even Johnny Miller and the defending champion Fuzzy Zeller at 3 over aren't really out of it. Here's Barr for a par, and he gets it. That's a good putt. Good 3. So he's completed 9 holes in fine style. He's done them in 35, which is par. And Barr there, you see, tied now with Payne Stewart and T.C. Chen at 2 under par. Best rounds of the day, 68s from David Graham and Hal Sutton. With Andy North leading the way. Seve Ballesteros has just dropped strokes at the 8th and the 9th. But still, you see, there are only half a dozen strokes or so behind, and you've seen what can happen. So it's with these very punishing closing holes here, the 16th in particular, 16, 17, 18, much can happen. But Andy North looks very determined indeed. He's had a tremendous amount of problems over the last 4 or 5 years. He hasn't been very well. He's had some bone, arm, knee problems, joint problems, but he looks very determined. Now, that's a very good putt from down there. Interesting man, Andy North, in his spare time, a football coach. Wonder how he got interested in that.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Coach McLean moved into our neighborhood when he got the job 7 or 8 years ago, and we became very good friends. And it started out calling kids, recruiting, and that sort of thing, and it's just evolved every year. And he's had me down the field the last 3 or 4 years, and it's really been fun. It's been neat to be around the kids. There's nothing like 17, 18, 19-year-olds to keep your enthusiasm up, and I think it's helped me through the last 3 years when I really haven't played well and I've really struggled and I've had some other problems. And it's been nice to get away from golf totally in the fall and be around the kids, and your outlook changes, and it's fun to be up all the time.
Andy North, another side of Andy North, the football coach. Now, T.C. Chen, this for a par 4, 8th hole. No, and we'll be looking for a plane as soon as possible to Taipei at this rate. And that's rather sad. All caused by a wayward 4-iron in the first place, and then perhaps trying to be too fancy. But at the moment, now the whole brain, the golfing brain, is now like scrambled eggs. Now, can he slip it back into gear? I don't know. Sun's coming out. Andy North has this for a par. This will keep him 2 ahead of Payne Stewart and Dave Barr. So he stays 4 under, and we go to the 10th. Dave Barr, only 2 behind. Good hole, this 10th. 454 yards. Narrow, sloping fairway. And he's missed the fairway and looks to have settled down a bit. All the fairway tilts from right to left as we look back. And there's the green at the end. A couple of bunkers either side. And that was recorded. Barr's found his ball. We're going to the 9th. And the final 2 ball out on the course, North and Chen. Looks simple enough, doesn't it? Big green, bunkers all around, 217 yards, but look where they've put the flag today. Cheeky little spot. high-flying fade, I suppose. 217 yards this hole. And there's a view from the other end. So up ahead at the 10th, Dave Barr's second shot. Payne Stewart. Birdie at the 12th. And he's not quite got it. What a great roll. Terrific try. The comedians in the crowd shout, wait 10 seconds, only 10 seconds. Taps it in for his par, and he stays at 2 under. Now back to the 9th. Andy North, 1 iron. Now he'd love to get a nice clean hit just left of the pin, feathering to the right. It looks as if he may have just pulled that away. Lefty has, and he's finding bunkers with monotonous regularity, and that's settled. That's nestled a bit. That's not very nice. Not nice at all. Well, he's extricated himself very well from the sand so far today, but he may have a very awkward stance there as well, and the ball half plugged in that bunker way on the left. TC Chen. He really, he's not out of it by any means, but he's been on such a run over the last 3 or 4 holes that, I mean, a disastrous run, that it will show a tremendous strength of character if he can even start getting a few pars together. If he could cover these next few holes in par, that will show tremendous character. He's got a little wood here, a little 4 wood. That's a good-looking shot, but it's still a bit left of the target, I fancy. But safely on. That's better. Andy North leads the way at 2 under. 4 under, I should say, 2 ahead of Payne Stewart and Dave Barr. Some other scores for you. The defending champion there, Fuzzy Zoeller. We'll take a break.
Andy North, who after a couple of holes today looked like he was going south, is now the leader in the United States Open Golf Championships by 2 strokes over Payne Stewart and Dave Barr, and Si Chung Chen of Taiwan, who led when the day began, is now in 4th place. The young man, unfortunately, has lost 7 strokes to par in the last 4 holes, 4 of them on 1 hole on the 5th, and that started it all. Here is the leader, but he's in a bunker on the par 3 9th hole.
But he's had a lot of practice out of these bunkers in this nine. As Peter said, Jack said, we've all said, just he's hitting a lot of hooks, too. Got a great 4 with a little bit of a break at the 8th hole after a hook drive. Well, watch this. This tell you about the contour here.
Yep. But look at this, going away from the hole now, and we're still moving. There, just coming to rest now. Long, long putt for the par 3. Now, Payne Stewart, no man has ever been 8 shots behind going into the last round of the U.S. Open and won. He was 8 strokes behind this morning. Now he's 2. As every schoolboy knows, Arnold Palmer was 7 strokes behind in 1960, and he won. Dave Barr. A long birdie attempt for the Canadian.
He must have hit a good shot out of that right rough to get to where he is. I was going to say, are you kidding me?
Now, trying to zero in, get that concentration back again. It's Si Chung Chen. Try to somehow put out of your mind the last 4 holes. Dennis Watson on the left for an eagle at 12. Watson, who's at 1 over, but he could suddenly be at 1 under. No, the touch is gone.
Just looks as though he's lost it completely. It's see Dennis's putt come up short. I think Peter put it right. Anybody that's ever played this game, and when something like that happens to you, it does seem like your brain turned to scrambled eggs.
Watson, as you saw, left it short. Will have a reasonable putt for a birdie on 12. It would bring him back to even par. But now Andy North, the leader, with a problem of his own. Up ahead of him, remember, Dave Barr, 1 hole ahead. Payne Stewart, 4 holes ahead. And Stewart is putting the holes behind him, which in the last analysis of the U.S. Open usually is what you want to do. It's not birdie opportunities that lie ahead. It's trouble opportunities. Payne Stewart with yet another birdie opportunity here.
Long putt, though, and he's got to go up over that hill at 13.
He went out in 32 strokes, 3 under par.
And in case you're wondering, Stewart knows how the tournament stands.
Andy North drops to 3 under. Payne Stewart.
Watch that one move now.
Will have trouble perhaps staying at 2 under. At the moment, North's lead has shrunk to 1 stroke over Dave Barr and Payne Stewart. Now, another difficult par putt for Tse Chung Chen. I guess they were all but getting out the firecrackers for the celebration on the island of Taiwan, but it's going fast.
Come on, TC, knock this in.
All right, good for him.
Finally.
Finally stiffening and shrugging to the crowd. Tse Chung Chen, 6 over par, 41 on the front 9.
But with all of that, he's still only 2 shots back of the leader.
Absolutely right. Well, there is the scorecard, and the blue ones were not only bogeys, but 1 quadruple bogey, or as you said, a snowman, so called from its conformation. The 2 little circles of an 8. There it is.
He played those first 4 holes just as like a machine, and the drive at 5.
But now, opportunity, in a sense, beckons to him again. As you said, 9 holes to play, 2 shots out. Andy North is not playing particularly well. He's found a lot of bunkers. He's been scrambling for what he's got. Andy is 2 over for the day. He shot 37.
And they have brought a lot of people back into the ball game, one of which is Dennis Watson here.
Yes. This is for a birdie on the par 5 12th. And he gets it. So he's back to even par, only 3 shots out. Payne Stewart.
Now, he's missed his par putt, if you remember, so this is for a bogey.
Remember, we saw him make the long birdie attempt, but he went way past, and he's missed that coming back, and now this is for the bogey. All right, so he is 1 under. He drops into a tie with Tse Chung Chen. Oh, my goodness. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them within 2 strokes, 5 within 3 strokes. Andy North.
He didn't like that either.
Nope. I think he's only had maybe 1 or 2 good tee shots all day. Bob Rosberg, do you get a mood feeling out there? That's in the right rough.
Well, he just has not hit a good shot yet off the tee, and he's really fighting. It looks to me like he shortened up his swing a little, trying to get the ball in the fairway, and he just can't do it.
Okay, there it is, graphically displayed before your eyes. It's going to be wild from here.
Lanny Watkins. 4 shots off the lead. Almost only 2 shots off the lead. What a marvelous iron he struck. Andy North.
Green ball. Catch the green. Whoa.
Stop. Yeah. Came out a little hot. Nestled in the rough and not too far to go to the pin. Now T.C. Chen. That ball below his feet.
I think it'd be tough to get close from there because this usually makes the ball go left to right and the pin's in the back to left of the green.
Just a little to the right of the flag, David, but pretty good.
Oh, wonderful shot.
That is the T.C. Chen of old. A 6-iron. Brilliantly played here into the 10th green. Got very close all of a sudden. So what Chen did was grant amnesty to an awful lot of people out here.
Yes, he did. And Lanny's had some round today after starting with a double bogey.
David Barr. About that. Woo.
Well, if you're going to play, Jack, now's the time to play.
And what a way to strike it at that 11th hole. If you can get by there with a birdie, you are really getting yourself some insurance. Twice the winner of this championship at the 18th, Hale Irwin. This is for par. Whoops. Well, Hale will finish at +5. And even par today, 70 for Hale Irwin.
That's good playing. 285. Not good enough this week, but that's still very good.
There you see the Folsom Gallery at 18, where yesterday they ejected a person when he yelled, "Go Tigers," just as Seve was about to putt. As Fuzzy Zeller said, Seve certainly knows an awful lot about the Tigers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
All right, we're back now for Andy North here.
It looked like he had a pretty good lie there, Jack. I couldn't tell. If he can get that club under there, then he can put a little, make it a lot softer shot. If he can't slide the club under there, it's going to come out pretty fast.
Nicely done. Oh, more.
Even better or bad news, it came out too soft.
Too soft is right. He leads by 1 from Dave Barr of Canada, who has just put a marvelous shot. Here's Lanny Watkins now for birdie at 13th. After that great shot he hit in there, and now Lanny moves. Just 3 shots off the lead. T.C. Chen is for birdie.
This would really give him a lot of heart here and put him back within 1 stroke at the worst of the lead. Gets a hole. Oh. Kind of had a feeling he might do that, Jack. You know, he's left so many short here. Just really took a run at that one.
Payne Stewart just a moment ago at 14. And he misses the green. Just bogeyed the hole before. You know, Bobby Jones, I think, said nobody wins a U.S. Open. Somebody always loses it.
Well, that may be true more often than not.
There's a golden opportunity here for half a dozen players. And here's one of them. Birdie attempt, tap in for par, and he remains one shot behind the leader. And here is the leader.
Now, if he misses, then that puts Dave Barr right into a tie for the lead. That ball went left. Wow. Well, Dave doesn't know it yet, but he's tied for the lead in the U.S. Open.
And Andy still has the rather difficult 11th hole to play.
Well, they're all difficult right now.
Right now, I guess so, Dave. They just want to get it on the fairway and on the green and go home.
And that's a lot harder than it may look.
Par for Chen. Now he's only one shot behind the leaders. Another look at the putt by Andy North. It's starting to go right, and now it comes back left and avoids the cup.
Just catches the edge there. That's a great shot of what a putt looks like. Now, if you were watching that without the blow up in the slow motion, it would look very smooth running down there. It looked like Magic Johnson was dribbling that ball down there.
Co-leaders Andy North and Dave Barr, with Payne Stewart and Chen just one shot behind, and Lanny Watkins coming into the picture very much. The 11th hole that we said is so difficult. You need a perfect drive here almost. You have to position your drive, and then this green, which is so narrow and long, and a severe pitch from back to front. Se-Chung Chen. That looks perfect.
Absolutely beautiful drive, but he did get kind of a bad break in that he's going to stand so far below the ball, Jack. The ball did not quite get down the hill enough to give him a good shot.
Think it's because the fairway's a little softer today, Bob, after the rain yesterday?
Well, driving into the wind, David, the ball didn't go but maybe 8 or 10 feet after it hit, and it just didn't trickle down. Yes, I believe it is because of the moisture. Tell you one thing, I think we can all say that Oakland Hills has won again.
And once again,
this
Andy
ball is
North.
so far to the left, you cannot believe it. This is over the gallery, down, but sitting up. Not bad. It avoided a tree over there, and it's sitting in the area where people have walked, so it's not too bad.
There's the shot Andy will have if they don't destroy his golf ball down there before he gets to it.
And not a bad angle. Right of the fairway brings that tree into play that Jay Haas hit yesterday.
But it must be making Andy very uncomfortable the way his tee shots are going.
It's his fourth shot.
Fourth shot for Payne Stewart.
Everyone wants to win, obviously, but no one is sort of taking charge here.
Here's what happened. He had hit his second shot over the green, if you remember, and here is his third.
Got a little too cute.
Boy, do I know that shot.
Oh, Jack, you play in this tournament, and you'll guarantee you'll hit one of these before too long.
That's too bad for Payne. He bogeyed the hole before and dropped now to even par. He makes that putt. Andy North, let's take a look at this, Dave.
Okay, well, Rossi observed that it looked as though he's shortened his swing a little bit. Let's see when he gets to the top, if he gets to parallel. Looks pretty good there. Maybe that right elbow is a little high. Looks in pretty good position. Starts down. Right heel's a little high. Left heel looked off the ground there, which means you're spinning out to the left. And, of course, spinning out to the left with a good player usually means the ball is going to go left. And he has hit a gang of hooks today.
Rossi?
Well, he's got the kind of a lie that he's got to play a shot up into the wind. The wind is blowing very strongly into him. Now, it doesn't look up at the green. The flag is hardly moving. But I'm up here on the hill to the right, and it is blowing quite hard, so it'll be coming out of his left and into his face. With probably 6-iron, somewhere in that vicinity, unless he tries to really jump on a 7.
Well, as we saw, that flag stick today is cut at the back of the green. And the green slopes from back to front. Well, it's approximately 160 yards to go.
One thing you got going for you here, Jack, is the gallery is packed in so tightly just over the green. I'm not saying that that's the place to put it. But if you do try and shoot it back there, it's not going to go very far.
Yeah, have a backstop. Payne Stewart, we're just told, has made double bogey and has dropped now to +1. Now we're getting it changed again to just a bogey. So Payne, if that is true, had bogey there, he is at even par.
Even par is really looking good, though.
Oh. Well, just think, if Payne hadn't bogeyed the last two, he is tied for the lead.
If.
An awful lot of people got invited to the party all of a sudden, didn't they? Payne Stewart is even. Lanny Wadkins even.
44.
Look at Ballesteros.
Let's come back a bit. Andy now for his second shot at 11.
Once again.
In the bunker. Rough to bunker. He's done that quite a few times. No, he just wants to stay with par now. Just get it up in one putt.
He's choked up on this club quite a bit here, Jack, because the ball is up above his feet. That's first thing you do when the ball's above your feet, and this ball should be a right to left shot, a hook, because your swing is a little flatter.
Good looking little shot.
I don't think he got out of that. That was a good shot. Looked like it might take one hop back toward the flag. It just really checked up, Rossi.
Andy North and Dave Barr, and they only lead by 1.
That's how it is here at the US Open. Andy North and Dave Barr at 2 under, and Mr. Chen at 1 under, and some other big names beginning to close. Situation's getting very tight. Andy North in trouble at the 11th. This was his third shot. This is on videotape. A simple-looking bunker shot, but watch. Thinned it. Got the blade too near the ball, right over into the gallery. And as Bob Rosberg was saying, the gallery are packed tight, so that ball won't have gone too far over. Dave Barr flips one up here at the 12th. That's his third shot, and what a good one. Chance for a birdie. Might go 3 under. Danny Wadkins with that birdie at the 13th. Wadkins for another birdie, this time at the 14th. Got one at the 13th, and he has... Ooh. Ballesteros has just had 2 birdies in a row, so he was 3 over, now back to 1 over, and getting within sight of the lead, although they're all playing slightly like eccentric millionaires. Nobody wants to sort of grab hold of the championship, or no one's able to grab hold of it. A lot of people marking time, and what an opportunity for a new name to come through, but they're making heavy weather of it. That's how it is, but Andy North, having played 3 over the back of this very tricky 11th green, and it's almost certain he's going to drop 1 stroke here. Here he is with this little chip. Oh, we've seen some crucial chip shots, haven't we, this afternoon? Payne Stewart, saw Mr. Chen at the 5th. Can he play a nice little floater? Well, he played it very well. He almost had to miss-hit it to get it close. Kept the rhythm, kept it going, and he looks unhappy. It's all a struggle. He's not hitting the ball well, and it's a tribute to his character that he's still up the top of the leaderboard, because he's hardly hit a decent shot off the tee, certainly. He's been in a 5 or 6 bunkers, it seems, almost a bunker a hole. And it's only his tenacity and spirit that's keeping him going, but keeping him going it is. Mr. Chen with a long putt up the green for a 3. And some time ago, Gordon Koch, the Scottish Walker Cup player, said a very interesting thing to me. He said there was a difference between conscious and unconscious competence. And by that he meant that people like Ben Hogan years ago, and Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson perhaps, and Lee Trevino, when things were very tight, their brains became very clear, and they could in all consciousness play well, whereas others are all right as long as they're going along in their own private little dream world, and as soon as they're aware of the pressure, the house of cards crumbles. And that's what happened to this man today. Sad but true. Conscious and unconscious competence. And that looks good if it runs, but it won't. And he's coming up off those putts too soon. He's not striking them with the authority that he once was. But this next hour or so is going to be fascinating to see those with... here's one. This man's got that cold-bloodedness about him. When it's going well, it's hard to beat. No, that was always knocked a little left. Can't really believe it, but it always looked left. Now this man here, I think, got that little one for a bogey. Now here's a man who is really a little edgy. On the left, Dave Barr's a little bit nervous. The putting stroke's a little short and quick, but he's still there. Chen on the right for a par at the 11th. Good putt. That could calm him down. Now Dave Barr. This with a birdie, this for a birdie, this would take him into the lead in the championship. In fact, it could give him he could be in the lead by 2. But watch the timing of the stroke. That was a better hit. That was good. Another fine mess you got me into. Here's Andy North. And he gets it in, but that's a stroke gone. So he drops back. Dave Barr moves on. In fact, he's 3 under now and leading the championship, and holes are running out. But so much can happen over these last few holes. There's the greenkeeper there, down on the green, taking the flag and the cup away, thwarting any souvenir hunters. So down they come from the 11th green, 12th tee now. For 560 yards, longest hole on the course, par 5, reachable in 2. We saw Dennis Watson through the green. There it is, bunkers on the left, a little group of bunkers on the edge of the fairway on the left, and many a bunker up round by the green. Elevated tee. And Chen now, having got that putt at the last hole, only 2 putts, but what an important second putt that was for him. But ungainly, now has he got away with it? He's pushed it surely to the right. Oh, held the fairway though. Dave Barr, 13th hole. Difficult par 3. Quick whippy swing, almost like the old caddy swing when I was a boy. And he's whipped that one way, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And there's the sign of the old nerves coming in and the conscious and unconscious competence. And look what a shot he's got left. Missed it on the wrong side, the flag's on that side. Could be an awful lie. So we might see a stroke gone here. He's in the lead by 2. But unless he gets a little miracle, I don't think that's going to be the situation for more than 10 minutes or so. So it's all heating up and the old pulse rate's quickening. Dave Barr leads the way, but there's a lot more to happen yet before tonight's close of play.
Back at the U.S. Open, where one is tempted to recall Casey Stengel's line to the old original Mets, can't anybody here play this game over the last few holes? The simple fact is that everybody here on that leaderboard can play this game and play it very well. But on the last 9 holes of any U.S. Open Golf Championship, we've seen it time after time, and anxiety attacks are rampant. Andy North really hasn't been hitting the ball well all day.
He doesn't like it.
Again, same old headway.
Left.
Ross?
Left-hand bunker again.
Yep, there it is. We just got a
Rossi,
quick look
how
at
many
it.
bunkers has he been in today? Have you kept count?
Well, I've lost count.
Oh.
That's about,
All
I think that's 8, to tell you the truth, David.
He certainly leads for bunkers in regulation.
Be a new stat. Can TC knock it on the green from where he is?
TC hit a good drive, but I don't think he can.
Dave Barr, the leader by 2 strokes, and there is his mistake.
All right, part of what's happening, okay?
Yes.
Andy's been in a slump for a long time. All of a sudden, it looked like a pretty good shot there.
Yeah, on the par 5 12th hole.
Even though he's won a U.S. Open, to get out and all of a sudden get handed the lead, now he hasn't been there. It's a little easier playing from behind.
Well, a lot yet to come, including the decision, but right now another special report from Peter Jennings. No Canadian has ever won the United States Open Golf Championship, although they've been playing in it on and off since the very first one. There was a Canadian in the first U.S. Open in 1895 at Newport. Dave Barr's the leader, but he has his problems. He was 2 at this point. Remember, he had just stubbed one from off the green. On the par 3 hole, he laid 2. His 3rd shot then. A good one, but leaving that for the bogey 4.
Well, he may not be happy with it, but anybody that's been in that part of the green pitching down that hill, that's a good shot that he just played.
Andy North on the par 5 12 with his 3rd shot. He trailed by 2 when the day began. Suddenly the lead was handed to him, but he hasn't been able to hold it. He trails by 2. Well, he's given himself a birdie opportunity there. If you weren't with us, Si Chung Chen was breezing along as he has been for more than 3 days here when suddenly hit the 5th hole. An errant 4-iron got him into trouble. He ended up with an 8 on the hole, including hitting the ball twice with 1 stroke. Now Dave Barr.
I don't care. It went in. It may not have been pretty, but it's all mine.
However, he does lose a stroke to par. Dave Barr now at 2 under for the championship. 1 stroke ahead of Andy North and Si Chung Chen. North with a realistic chance for a birdie. Now, Chen is in the bunker, but he is only lying 2 on the par 5 hole. So, An outstanding bunker shot could give him a birdie opportunity, a decent one. And gee, what a tough situation.
You got to get it
Look
on
at that.
first thing.
Yeah, and the flagstick is pretty close. Oh, what a shot. Dave.
We could possibly have a three-way tie here in a few minutes. If they both make, they'll be tied with David, who's just played.
He must again start giving credit and praise to this young man who's had the chance to go absolutely out of it, but wouldn't give up.
Watch where this hits now. Just in the tall fringe and kicks down. Okay.
In the course of 4 holes, he went 7 over par, and now he's coming back. Tae-Chung Chen.
The momentum changes in this round with every shot.
No matter what happens with him today, he'll be a legend in his home country from now on. So no Canadians ever won this? No Taiwanese has ever won this? Andy North has. There's Dave Barr, who would be the first Canadian. Still clinging to a 1-stroke lead on this long par 4, 465. We're not very far from Canada here, so I'm sure there are a lot of Canadians in the gallery today following Dave. Andy North, birdie attempt.
Would put him in a tie with David.
Yep. No.
Boy, that was a good smooth stroke, and it just didn't break.
Should we have a tie, as always in the United States Open, the playoff will be at 18 holes tomorrow. And we'll be here for that, of course. It'll be 4 to 5:30 Eastern Time, just to alert you to that possibility. In case you want to shorten your working day tomorrow somehow. Now for the par. All right. Now, Chen's turn. We came here this week with many people, all of us, I think, talking about the possibility of a foreign challenge. But we were talking about Seve Ballesteros and Bernhard Langer, the Masters champion. If Chen makes this putt, the foreign challenge will be Tae-Chung Chen and Dave Barr tie for the lead. He's back in the lead, tied with Dave Barr, Tae-Chung Chen of Taiwan. What an open we've got here. What an open we have at Oakland Hills. There it is.
And what an open indeed, Jim. The United States Open on Sunday afternoon always provides dramatics, but none quite the same as we've seen here today. As you know by this time probably, it all turned around when the most flawless game of Mr. Chen snapped like a pair of chopsticks with a bad 4-iron shot on the 5th hole, and he went on to take a quadruple bogey 8. And that brought an awful lot of people back into the race, or the party. But apparently they didn't want to be at the party. Andy North immediately took the lead and immediately almost lost it. Having terrific difficulties off the tee. He's been in more sand than a hermit in the desert today. He subsequently lost it to Dave Barr, who is in a little trouble now. And Then Payne Stewart made a charge and fell back, and Lanny Watkins made a charge and didn't get too far. And now, improbable as anything, Mr. Chen is back with part of the lead again. Let's take a look at where it all turned around. This was the shot at the 5th hole. It was his 3rd shot, having pushed the 4th, and there he was. He hit it twice. It hurts every time we see it. And while he almost sunk the next one for a 6, it didn't, and he ended up with a quadruple 8, and that changed the whole situation here at Oakland Hills. Then Andy North, he had put his tee shot once again off the fairway, and this was his 2nd shot into this difficult par 4 green. Well, it wasn't a heck of a shot because it went into that bunker. Now, Andy has been a very good bunker player throughout this week, but this one got away. So Andy lost the lead there. Dave Barr now, who's been lurking all day. This was his 3rd shot at the par 5, 12th hole. And with this birdie putt, Dave took the 2-shot lead, but he subsequently went on to bogey, and now Mr. Chen has tied him.
Live again now. Live again now with Andy North, 1 shot behind the co-leaders Barr and Chen. 13th hole, par 3, 172 yards. 5 iron, we're told. And just as suddenly he says, "Oh yeah, you think I'm finished?"
Well,
not quite.
For one of the few good swings that Andy's made today.
Videotape now. Just moments ago, this was Mr. Chen. And as you saw, he didn't like it at all. Bob Rosberg's with him. Exactly what is his situation? Well, sorry, Bob, we got to take a look at Dave Barr.
David's 2nd shot at 14. Not bad. I couldn't tell whether he liked it. I'm not too sure he was sure, but it's on the green. We saw Payne Stewart and Lanny Watkins both bogey the 14th hole.
Beginning to look like a 5-man race, certainly at least that much at this point. Barr, Chen, North, Stewart, Watson, and maybe Watkins.
We're looking at Andy North. 1 shot behind the leaders, Chen and Barr. There's the leaderboard at the moment. Payne Stewart, Dennis Watson, and Lanny Watkins. But for them, the holes are running out.
Yeah, but Payne has played 16.
The water hole. Nice stroke, Andy. What a lovely stroke.
Tied for the lead.
3-man ex aequo now. Dave Barr, Che-Chung Chen, and Andy North.
Dave Barr's putted. 14. It's about where Lanny was a while ago.
Just a few moments ago at 17, Payne Stewart.
Oh, boy. I can tell you it gets a little tense about now.
In the last hour of competition. There's the 16th. Beautiful water hole and a difficult, marvelous hole. And next to it, the 17th tee. And on up to this marvelous par 3. Dennis Watson at the 16th. Needing this to stay even. Andy North.
Maybe the way he's looking, he finally hit a fairway.
He certainly did at 14.
And that's a tremendous drive.
Maybe he discovered something. It must be so annoying when you can't correct. Huh?
Annoying is not quite the word that you might use if you ask him
US Open,
quietly. Yes.
All right. Has anybody else in Open history ever suffered a quadruple bogey and then regained a share of the lead? Well, oh, that could be a little difficulty.
That one is not too good, Jack.
I wonder if he has a swing at all.
I believe he's going to have a very restricted backswing.
Yeah. And deep rough, too. Dennis Watson, incidentally, made the par at 16 and remains even. And now Dave Barr. In for par.
Well, he popped that right in there, too, Jack. That wasn't like the one at the hole before that wiggled in.
Three leaders now, North, Barr, and Chen. With Andy North in the fairway at 14 and Chen perhaps in trouble. There'll be a few players waiting around to see the last group come in, don't you think?
I'm sure a lot of people who were about to turn off at the early part of this round, or if they did and went out to play or something, they've come back and what's happened?
This is Dennis Watson. Par 3, 17th. Uphill. He has in his hands a 2-iron.
Jack, I've been told that Dennis has gotten the ball up and down from missing the green 9 times today.
Oh, my. That takes some nerves, doesn't it?
His bunker shot on the last hole lit the cup before it went 8 feet by.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Good shot.
We may have another one in contention here in a moment. So we look at Dave Barr.
I wonder if the group ahead of him hasn't played yet, or it seems that it's taking a little bit of time there. They've already played. But it's no time to get too speedy. Make your mind up. It's a layup hole, but just which club to lay up with.
You see the people outside the fence there staring in as we look at Chen and his problem. Well, let's get Dave Barr's shot first. Laying up with an iron. Fairway trap in the middle of this fairway.
Could see him say, stay in the fairway.
Barely. No. Payne Stewart at 18. Oh, nice bounce.
Great drive there.
Right over those traps and out into the fairway. Now, Bob Rosberg, how's the lie, et cetera, et cetera?
The lie isn't very good, and the swing is not very good. He's got a little slot in the trees there that he can take the club up, but if you swing it too hard and too far back, you're going to get it caught up in the tree. I doubt if he can get to the green out of this lie. If he had a good, clean lie, he might be able to, but even downwind, he's going to have to run the ball quite a ways to get it there. It's a very, very difficult shot. As you can see, he's bending over a lot more than his natural swing so that the club won't get too high in his backswing.
Plus, he's choked up quite a bit on it, Bob.
Well, I tell you, I don't know whether he shanked it or whether it just came out straight right. But it came out straight right, bounced off the tree ahead of him, and kicked right out in the middle of the fairway. So, right in the middle of the fairway.
Well, it's the luck of the Irish, huh?
Well, he gave it all back in one little stretch
sure
there.
did.
Maybe, you know, that time something good happened to him.
I agree with you. There he is, and here's Payne Stewart at the 18th.
This might be the most important shot of his life. Could hear someone say hurry, but quite a bit away.
Yes. They tell me that pin position is the same one that was there in 1950, which, of course, Ben Hogan would have loved, wouldn't he? Bring it in left to right. The wind blowing that way today, too. Andy North. Earlier with the 7-iron. Just seemed to hit the fringe there and check up a little.
Well, with a 7, he got a little more stuff on it. The ball was still moving. Maybe he needed one more club, but that's on the green, okay.
3 leaders. With Payne Stewart walking up 18. And some other scores.
He's looking at that scoreboard.
And he sure is.
Just in case you think the players don't want to know.
For Fuzzy Zeller and Payne Stewart. This is Lanny at 17.
Hit it.
And he'll have to work for par.
Well, that's not quite the effort I would expect from Lanny because he's so aggressive. And at this point, I know the most important thing to him is winning this tournament, not where you finish down the list.
Earlier, Se Chung Chen. Third shot at 14, par 4. Now Dave Barr. The 15th, second shot, 4-iron. And he's not there.
So much depends on that lie. The only good news there is he's pitching up the hill a little bit. Of course, Dave knows, Andy knows, and TC knows you par in from where you are, and you're probably going to win. Now, can you do it? Of course, a birdie along the way. They're obviously trying to make birdies, but 278 really looks good. Dennis
Watson at the 17th. This is for birdie.
If he goes 2-3, birdie, birdie, that would be 278. Stay up. Stay up.
No, just drifted down, didn't it? Oh, my. That would have put him within one of the lead. Now we have Chen on the left and Payne on the right.
Same kind of thing here with Payne, Jack. You know, it's not how you finish in the top 10 or what in the U.S. Open. It's winning a tournament. Now, if he's going to have a chance to win, he's got to give this a run. He's putting up over the big left to right break. As I said, he's got to take a run at it.
I don't know if those greens slowed up.
No, sometimes your nerves slow up.
Now Chen.
Slow down, slow down. That's very quick by that hole. Whatever happens, he'll be a lot tougher player next time he plays.
Marvelously how he kept his outward composure anyway. I don't know what's going on inside him, but he really was a not too noticeable a difference from when he was leading the tournament by 4 shots and when he had his tragedy at the 5th hole. All right, Andy North.
Not bad. If you hit it a little firm there, it's very slick by the hole there. He's played 2 good holes in a row. Hit that good iron shot at 13 and in the fairway at 14 and on the green. This could be an important putt. To have any chance, I would think he's got to make this.
Dave Barr on the left at the 15. Just about pin high, wasn't he?
If he's got a good lie, though, sometimes the shot you might pitch in.
Well, he had that in mind, didn't he?
Yeah, but maybe now he wishes he didn't have that in mind.
Well, Chen just made bogey, so he drops to 1. And now Stewart for par to stay even. Oh, dear.
3 putts there.
Well, Kane Stewart finishes at 1 over.
Still a good round and a good tournament. He's a good young player. And Fuzzy there, of course, defending champion. He's been a great champion, I think.
Indeed he has. Well, that's the best score posted so far. As we look back at the 15th tee. Andy North tied with Dave Barr at 2 under. Takes a 3-wood.
Yeah, well, maybe just when he needed it, he gets his swing back on track.
And I was going to say, his whole demeanor is different, isn't it, than it was in the early holes. He looked like he was almost lackadaisical. He's very intense now.
The lead of the Open will make you a little bit intense, Jack.
What a story he has contributed to United States Open lore. Tse Chung Chen. Very, very nicely done. Now here's a putt for Dave Barr to hold part of the lead.
Now, he has some idea of what it may do because of the chip going by the hole. I'm sure he watched it go by. Good. Good going,
Very
David.
good point, and it's safely in, and we still have co-leaders Andy North and Dave Barr. We'll be back.
So that's how it is. Andy North and Dave Barr, 2 under par. And if you go back just 4 days, they would probably have been 2 of the most unlikely candidates to be there at the top of the leaderboard, or indeed the other 3 names that are alongside them. Such is golf, such is the magic of the championships, whether it be the British or the United States Open Championships. It is just that, as Jim said at the beginning of the championship, it's open. Looking back, behind the 15th green, Mr. Chen, the wheels have come off a bit, but can he finish well? Just under 400 yards.
Beautiful shot.
Looks good. Oh, Bob, it's a super shot. It's pulling back, a little unlucky. Played a 5-iron there, and it's jumped back at least 7 or 8 feet. Dave Barr on the 16th. Needs to crack it up the right-hand side of the fairway. The flag today in a punishing spot on the right-hand side of the green, and Dave Barr is in position A. Over the water he has to go, and the flag in that right-hand little corner. Andy North, joint leader, second to the 15th. Chen is quite close, might have been closer. Stroke behind. Andy North has been in, must have been 6 or 7 or even more bunkers. He's only hit about 2 or 3 drives well, but he's managed, as many a handicap golfer can do, to hit the middle irons, those short clubs with the loft. He's managed to hit a few good ones, and he's shown tremendous courage. Joint leader, can he finish well? Again, right on target. Another 10 or 12 feet, and that would have been stone dead. Very good playing indeed. Dennis Watson at the 18th. Now, he had a chance at the last hole. Just shaved it. Even par. This last hole, 453 yards. And it's a good shot. Now, he could spin back. Here it goes. Now, how far will it travel? Oh, Dennis, if you'd only been a shot less, and if you could hold that, what tales you might be able to tell. And who knows, you may still be able to tell. Dave Barr there on the right, Andy North on the left. Some scores for you to look at. 18th green now, and Dennis Watson, who won 3 events on the tour last year, a huge amount of money. And here he is with a putt that would take him to 1 under par. And he, if he gets it, will have completed his round. The other players will have 3 or 4 holes to go. Ooh, and I don't know, it gets your old nerve ends tingling, particularly as I've drawn him in the ABC swindle. If he pops this in, I might be having a glass of sherbet tonight, who knows? But he would set the target. If this goes in, Watson would be 1 under par. And that would be a very good and stern target to set. But of course he's got to hold it. He had a chance on the last after a very good tee shot. It looked as if he'd hold it, but it didn't go in. And this is a very testy little putt. Quick and quite a little bit of swing. Now, is that club going to be a pal to him? No, he's not. Oh, that was a tweaky one, wasn't it? That was a last green open putt, if ever I saw one. A tentative prod. Dennis Watson, who had the 2-stroke penalty, remember? Which I must confess to my dear friends at the USGA, I think that's a hard rule. And the R&A, I think that might be reviewed. Fancy finishing even par with a 2-shot penalty. when the leaders are only 2 under par. I wonder what his thoughts will be. Andy North, this for a par. Prods it in with his very individualistic putting style and stays at 2 under. Joint leader with Dave Barr. Here he is, Dave Barr. 16th hole. Good position on the fairway, but this really is a frightening second if you go at the pin. Got through it well. That looked to be a pretty neat swing. And a very neat shot. Oh, the nerve ends were a bit raw there. Say Chen, 15th green. He deserves one. Got a little bit of a slope to go up, maybe a gentle rise of 10 inches or so. No, just not happening when he needed one most. But what an experience for the young fella. And I suppose it was a bit too much to hope, but things do happen. If you're as old as me, you remember a young man called Cassius Clay against Sonny Liston. He had no hope at all, but won. We mentioned Trevino winning all those years ago. Was it really 17 years? Who knows, this man might still do it. This for his par 4. Yes, he gets it in. He stays 1 behind the leaders. There's still a few holes to go. Don't go far away.
So, will it be on Wisconsin for Andy North, or oh Canada for Dave Barr, or a little oil for the lamps of Taiwan with Se-Chung Chen? We don't know, because the U.S. Open is up for grabs. It has returned to being the wide open, just when it seemed earlier this afternoon that Se-Chung Chen had it all wrapped up, ready to put it in his pocket. He came up with a quadruple bogey on the 5th hole, then took 3 more bogeys in succession, lost 7 strokes to par in 4 holes, seemed to be out of it. He came back, steadied, but it's Barr and North right now. Chen 1 behind. Any one of the 3 could win, or we could have a playoff at 18 holes tomorrow. Wind is up a little more. It's getting chilly here in the middle of June. Feels like football weather, not the U.S. Open. Dave Barr from the western part of Canada, out near Vancouver.
Never was on track there, Jim.
No, but
not hit solid. When you see it bounce, usually you don't hit it solid and it doesn't get to the hole.
Almost never goes in the hole if you see it bouncing up there, does it? I remember the great Byron Nelson used to point that out. Hope he's watching with us today. Andy North. This was his tee shot on the 16th, the same hole that Barr is playing, but he's back on the tee as he hits this. And the tee shot suddenly seems to have steadied a bit, Dave.
Just in time, I might add.
He was pulling them all to the left earlier, or hooking them. It's just, could be one of those funny lies, too, Dave. It's right on the edge of the rough, you know.
I'm sure Rossi's down there, and he can tell us what he's got.
Yep.
He really has a pretty good lie. The ball did get in the edge of the rough, but I don't think it's going to bother him. In fact, going into the wind, it'll make the ball go forward just a little, and that certainly doesn't hurt with that lake in front. Of course, you got to guard against the bunker and back.
It's not one of those things up against the collar of the rough. Mr. Chen. Let out a little shaft on that one. Yes, indeed. Gorgeous shot.
Yeah, that's really in the correct side of the fairway, the right side. Rossi, how long a shot does Andy have where he is, would you say?
I would say Andy's 155 yards, Dave. The wind is gusting a little right now. Right now, it's not blowing at all, but I think it will be before he gets ready to shoot. It's coming up and going down just every couple of seconds. Very tough playing conditions out here.
You saw Dave Barr rattle it around the cup in for the par to move on to the 17th hole, beginning to run out of holes now.
Yeah, but he's by the 16th hole.
That's right. That's right. As we said earlier, in the final round, in the final 9 holes, particularly the U.S. Open, the holes ahead of you did not present so much a birdie opportunity as trouble, or potential trouble, my friend. Definitely with a capital T. Well, there's Andy North from high overhead. Started the day 2 behind. Now tie for the lead. You must see that water a little more, don't you, in the last round of the Open than on another occasion?
You're definitely aware of it, but as Bob pointed out, you're not a whole lot better off in that. Well, you are a little bit better off in that back bunker. This is a hole that really requires the proper club and a good shot. That's why it's an All-American hole. Anytime you see a 16th hole pick or a par 4 like this. And if you miss, make it go left.
That one's left. Well left.
Yes, it is.
Well, he knows that putt. If you remember yesterday, he made a
Knocked it in.
seagoer from over there.
Now to the 17th tee and Dave Barr. This, the last par 3 on the course. 201 yards. Judy Rankin with Dave Barr. Now, is the wind gusty over there, Judy?
It's pretty quiet right at the moment, Jim.
Is it?
I tell you, he's just been a master today at keeping his concentration. He hasn't let a bogey bother him, and I think he might bring it in.
So the way he pushed that grass down with his foot, you can do that on the tee, but don't try that anyplace else on the golf
Well,
course.
he's also stepping back here. He might just be taking a little look and see what's going on over at 16, which is just to his left.
Well, they tell us he's considering a 3-iron right now.
He's become much more deliberate choosing his clubs the last 3 or 4 holes.
Here's the drama all in one picture. Barr on the left of your screen, and he looks back over to 16, where he knows that Andy North is with Si Chung Chen. Up here on 18, very gusty up on the tower right now. But the wind's still down on 17.
No.
Did not
He's hit
like
it
it.
left, I think.
Sit down ball, he said. Well, quite. Well, that'll take a little concentration. Now the second shot of Si Chung Chen, trailing by 1 shot. This is what he did on 16. Doesn't seem happy.
That's as much emotion as I've seen from him.
Yeah, look out. All right. It's on the putting surface. So they're both safely on 16. Dave Barr over on 17. A message from the USGA.
There are the co-leaders. Dave Barr at 17, Andy North at 16. Dave has just overshot the green at 17, the par 3, and Andy North has a putt of considerable distance. And I'm sure what he's thinking is get down in 2.
I'm sure that's what they're both thinking.
He used to said that we hadn't seen that much emotion from Mr. Chen all week, and it's true, and we never saw that much emotion from Dave Barr either. So the lemon is getting squeezed, isn't it?
Feel like a fish on a bank up there sometimes, Jack, trying to get a breath of air. Just please be still my heart.
Andy North. Look at those eyes. been just marvelous with those long putts.
That's outstanding.
Perfect pace there.
Look how good your nerves are to do that.
And here are some scores in alphabetical order, so you can pick out your friends and uncles and relatives.
Fathers on Father's Day.
Yes. Young Rick Fair. Marvelous Open for him.
Could be very important to him to get him back in this tournament for next year if he finishes in the top 15, or get an invitation to the Masters possibly if you're in the top 16.
Maybe he'll only play majors the rest of his life.
Well, unless he qualifies at the school, that's what he's going to have to do.
Dave Barr now at 17.
And from where he is, he can see what Andy did back in 16. He's well aware of the situation.
Oh, he's going to softly put it down. What is that?
He might not have had any choice but to do that because of the ridge that runs down the center of that green. I was a little surprised, too, trying that shot at this moment.
Now over at 16, Che Chung Chen. Come on, more. Now we'll take another look at that shot, David Barr.
He may not have been able to play a run shot here, Jack. The screen, big slope from his left to right. And that fringe, if you see, comes down into part of it there. He just didn't throw it far enough for sure, though.
Oh, dear. What a putt now for par. And once again, we look at Dave Barr.
Tell Dennis Watson not to leave just yet.
Oh, okay.
He's squeezed that in there with his knees just a little.
Press duck. Here are some more scores by alphabetical order. Andy for par.
Good two-putt.
On to the 17th, where they will look up at David Barr. Imagine he feels very lonely at this moment.
They all do, Jack. Just you and your caddy out there.
Bogey. Drops him to 1 under. Judy, was that the reason you think that Dave gave that he hit that kind of a shot there? Did you see the lie?
I tell you, his lie really wasn't too bad, but the severe undulation, the big hump between himself and the hole was his real problem. I'm surprised he didn't try to run the ball over it and play a big break.
Now the leader by himself once again.
Well, he's been there before, so of the ones with a chance to win, he's the One to the left on the course. He's the only one that's been there.
It was about 207, something like that.
Consultation with his caddy. And the pin on the right back today.
I thought what he said to the caddy was, good 4. Better be a very good 4.
No.
That's to the right.
Every time somebody gets the lead by themselves, trouble.
We may play forever.
You know, David, one thing about that ball, it's really not in too bad a spot to play a bunker shot. It's well short of the hole. He'd be blasting it up the green and sort of into the wind. And he has that hump behind the hole, too. If it goes too far, it can't go much past 12, 15 feet.
Unless he does it like he did at 11, Bobby. The last bunker shot he had, he got a little clean.
Well, that would not be too good here.
Oh, well, I don't know how long his memory is. You know, sometimes people's memories are longer than others.
Tell you, I think you were right. I think he had to hit that 4 awful hard to
Well,
get it back here.
if that's what he in fact said, I think that's what he said to the caddy.
And that's what he hit for.
Oh, it was? Now it's Chen's back in the ball game.
Oh.
Is that left, Rossi?
It looks a little left. Yeah, I tell you, it's not a good plot over there. That is a bad spot.
It's almost on the same line Dave was a moment ago, except he was back in the tall grass, and that is a severe left to right break there. Maybe insofar as you have to put up through the fringe, Jim. Jack?
Dave Barr, 18th tee. It looked like he was trying to send it out over those traps, and he didn't make it, did he?
No. Of all the places to put it in, sometimes you may panic a little bit, but he just got to pull himself together and make a 4 here somehow.
I wonder if he knows, like he doesn't know, I guess, that Andy has put his in the bunker at 17.
No, but he does know that if he makes a 5, he's really cut himself back.
Well, that's the situation. Andy North in a bunker at 17. Judy, can you tell us about Dave Barr's tee shot?
Well, the lie isn't the best, and I think he's going to have a very difficult stance. He can get the ball up over the lip, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to stand at the ball well enough to hit it.
Well, he'll just hit it out of fairway, right, Judy? I mean, he's no
well,
chance to
he
get
can
to the
certainly
green.
advance it towards the green, but I don't think he can hit the ball to the green. It's probably a shot of close to 190 yards.
Now to 17 and Andy North. Who has an intimate knowledge of the bunkers at Oakland Hills.
Like the Sandman today.
He leads Dave Barr by 1 and Chae-Chung Chen by 1.
Feet above, ball tends to slide out going right. What a
Oh, my goodness.
What a shot.
Well, as Peter Alliss said, his courage all day has been what's carried him to this point, and there you saw another evidence of it. Let's take another look.
He knew it was good.
Now, those cheers ringing in the ears of Dave Barr now at 18. He probably thinks he holed it out. Andy North holed it out. Yeah, and it hit the lip, didn't it? Oh, kind of disappeared on us, didn't it?
Looked like he's really in deep on this next shot.
Take another look. I guess, and Judy was right about the stance, I guess. He just couldn't get enough onto it,
Right.
Now Chen at 17.
I think he's got to go up near the fringe to the left there, to his left. Big swing to the right.
Oh, that's difficult, isn't it?
Hard to judge.
Oh, it's still moving.
Now you see what Dave Barr's problem was when he was back a little bit on much the same line. Well, this may be the only man left in red numbers here in a minute.
It could be that Andy would have a two-shot lead teeing off on 18.
So did David Graham in 1979, though. When the PGA was held here.
Next 25 minutes should be traumatic. There's Andy's scorecard. One birdie. But that was as good as a birdie there.
He made some pars yesterday that were like birdies, too.
What a magnificent sand shot by Andy North here at 17 to hold him at 2 under. One more par 4.
You see him thinking about the tee shot? About his turn?
And Chen to stay 1 under, and it's tough putt.
Hurry.
Hurry. More. Oh, right dead center, too.
Well, we'll never know.
Himself on the head, huh?
He's at great composure today when any other time you might just want to run hide.
Well, you think of Dennis Watson with the 2-stroke penalty and Chen with a quadruple bogey, and they're both around almost winning it, huh?
Yeah. Dave's lie doesn't look too bad, Jack, but he really needs to get this close. You could hear him say, come down.
Up just off.
Well, he knew that it flew. You can feel that as soon as you hit it.
Andy North has 453 yards to go
for his second Open Championship.
You win 1, you could be lucky, but if you win 2, there's got to be something here.
Tough driving hole. Those bunkers that you see to the right there are definitely in play. You just saw Dave Barr there. It's against the wind, out of bounds to the left, trees on the right of the bunkers.
Looks like he started it out down the right, huh? Oh, what a time to come up with an A tee shot, huh?
That is driving your golf ball.
And considering the way he drove it for 75, 80% of the round.
That little white thing just back of his ball there, when we come back to his ball, is a little yardage indicator, and it's 196 to the center of the green from there.
Che Chung Chen at even. So Chen over to the left, but Andy North with a one-shot lead solidly in the middle of the fairway. We'll be back.
Well, the closing stages of the 85th U.S. Open Championship, and the drama goes on and on and on. Dave Barr, fourth shot. He had glory in the palms of his hands, and all he had to do was close his fingers, and suddenly all the gold dribbled through. But, look at that, nestling down. This is his fourth shot, and it's perilously fast down that hill. That's good. Oh, unlucky. And that, right there, probably the greatest moment that you might have had in your life, might still be. But what a difference if that had gone in, because that means almost assuredly that Dave Barr is going to drop a stroke here at the last. He's going to finish an even par, tied with Dennis Watson, who's already completed his round. Mr. Chen back down the fairway, who's in trouble. He's even. And so much going on here. And at the beginning of the week, the old timers like Mr. Watson and Mr. Nicklaus, have a look at it again here, but the old timers were saying that they thought a roundabout par would win. And when they were all doing 6 under and 7 under and 8 under, they said no, no, no. But the course certainly, and the nerves and the tension and the US Open certainly hasn't made breaking all those records any easier. Now here he is, Dave Barr, and his great moments this week. This for a 1 over par 5. Okay. There it is. 5 for Dave Barr. Finishes at level par, 70, 68, 70, 72, 280. That's very good playing indeed. So near and yet so far, tied with Dennis Watson, who will have certainly tales to tell his grandchildren about this Open Championship. And back down the fairway, Andy North, who all those years ago, Denver, Cherry Hills, had a 5 to win, and under very trying conditions he got that 5. Now what would you do, mates, if you were down there in the perfect position? Would you just hit a 7-iron up the fairway? His partner today, his playing companion, young Mr. Chen, way over on the fairway. And it's interesting to reflect that over the last 2 rounds that Andy North has only had 2 birdies. And looking down our scoring sheets that have been kept by some very interesting young men over the last, they've done a tremendous job, the youngsters, with our scoring this week. It's interesting to see how many birdies so many of the other players have got. But would you believe the leader in the championship at this moment, Andy North, has only had 2 in the last 2 rounds. Mr. Chen, I dropped there. Yes, well, move that old dog end out of the way, and here we go. And he's found a reasonable place. Now he is even. He's even par. Dave Barr has finished. Dennis Watson has finished. So Chen needs to get down in 3 from here to tie with them. If he should secure a small miracle and crack it up on the green and hold a putt for a 3, it would mean that Andy North can't afford to hang around. But I think at this moment I would rather be Mr. North than Mr. Chen. It's been a fascinating week's championship. Some would say that the course hasn't been as punishing as it might have been. But at the end of the day, the winner is not going to be many under par, if any. Now here's the young man who took 8, hit the ball twice at the 5th, 5, 6, 7. He had a horrendous time. And all congratulations to him for keeping things going. Now can he carry this ball up onto this 18th green? Well, a lot of noise, but there you see the result. And that was a very difficult shot, wasn't it, Bob?
Yes, Peter, I don't think he could have gotten it there with an iron. You know, he only carries a driver and a 3-wood, and I don't think he really had a shot. He had a club for the shot.
Now, what about this young man? Here, Bob, here he is. He's wants a 5 to win. What do you think?
Well, I think he's just got to take enough club to get it over the bunkers. Of course, David Graham did that in '79 and made 6, so I don't know about that.
But you wouldn't mind stepping in there right now, Bob, would you, and running the risk of getting down in 4 more from here for the championship?
I'd like to take that risk.
Oh, indeed. Here we go. Andy North, second, the 72nd hole. Leader by 2.
Hit it heavy. Straight.
Oh, and it's not over yet. He's stuck on the bank, and I must say one thing for Andy North. When you remember him at Denver, he did really make us sweat right down to the wire. Let's go over to Jim.
Well, Peter, up here at 18, it's the chill of early evening. The flag a little bit limper than it was. The wind has died down. That's no factor anymore because the last 2 players on the course are about to approach the green. They'll be using short clubs, a pitching wedge or a sand wedge for Andy North, a sand wedge certainly for the man from Taiwan. Is this the walk to victory? Well, a moment ago we thought that was certain, and it still appears most likely because if he gets the ball on in 3, he still has 2 putts for a 5 to win this championship. It's interesting that one way or another the rules of golf will be involved in the decision of the 1985 U.S. Open. Well, they're greeting them both, you can be sure. Here comes Andy. Seven years after Cherry Hills, after all the injuries, all the disappointments, Andy North should win his 2nd U.S. Open. It's only the 3rd tournament that he will have won in his professional career. Seven years ago, he had very much the same situation to win at Cherry Hills. Here was his 3rd shot at that time. You can see the wind was blowing strongly.
Jim, and how do you control yourself?
That was Dave talking at the time. So similar, so similar. But on this occasion, he left it in the bunker. Now, he does not have a bunker in front of him to come up onto the green this time. But he is just about as far from the flagstick as he was at Cherry Hills. Just when all seemed safely in, he hit that bad shot.
Similarity, too. He had 2 very hard finishing holes. 18 at Cherry Hills is a tough hole. But as you point out, there's no bunker between him and the hole there. And all he needs to do is just loft it on the front of the green.
Well, certainly should be able to get down in 2 from there, and he's going to have to make sure of it. Andy North, we started to say the rules of golf are involved in the decision here one way or another. We had Dennis Watson, who incurred a 2-stroke penalty. Were it not for that, he would be tied for the lead right now, and assuming Andy makes the 5, Dennis would have been a stroke ahead. And, of course, Mr. Chen, by hitting the ball twice with one stroke, incurred a one-stroke penalty.
Well, let's not count Mr. Chen out here. He's got one last little chance if he should happen to make this shot. Now Andy's got to make his to win.
Well struck.
Good looking shot.
Oh, oh, oh! Oh, what an ending to the U.S. Open, and it's not quite over. It's not quite over yet. This man can take nothing but glory back home to Taiwan. Tse-Chung Chen with the heart of a lion. This for the par 4, which will give him a round of 77, 7 over par today. The bulk of that, well, all of that incurred on a string of 4 holes.
Yeah.
Went 4 over on one hole, then 3 bogeys in a row after
I think he
that.
kind of wonders what to do, and what he should do really is go ahead and finish. That's what he was asking Andy at this point, because the crowd is really waiting for Andy at this point now that Chen didn't make his. Pretty good little bunker shot. We've seen an awful lot of different kinds of shots here.
All right, for a round of 77, he comes in at even par and is tied for second place with Dave Barr of Canada and Dennis Watson of South Africa. 3 foreign golfers tying for second, it appears, in the United States Open. But now it's time, it appears, for Happy Father's Day for Andy North, father of 2 daughters, 11 and 7 years old. If he gets down in 2 putts, he wins, just as he did 7 years ago. The only other tournament he's ever won as a pro is the Westchester Classic in 1977. But this will be 2 U.S. Opens. There sits the championship a few inches away. And the moral of the story, never, ever give up. Not after a string of injuries, not after a 7-year drought, not after you hit every bunker on the golf course, it seems, not after it seems you've lost it and have to come back again. Never give up, and Andy North didn't.
Al Mengert, the club professional here. John Morris for the USGA there with TC.
Andy, with a final round of 74, wins the United States Open. 7 o'clock this evening, the hostage crisis unfortunately goes on. A special program, Hostage Flight TWA 847. Peter Jennings will be the host at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Well, it has been a long and nervous afternoon at the Open, and we'll be back again. We return to Oakland Hills, where Andy North of the United States and Madison, Wisconsin, has just won his second United States Open Golf Championship. We're going to be standing by and we'll stay for a word with the champion. Meanwhile, here is the way they finished. Andy North just by 1 over Dennis Watson of South Africa, Dave Barr of Canada, and Tse-Chung Chen of Taiwan, and Seve Ballesteros of Spain at 1 over par. And the others you saw, Johnny Miller, former winner there. Fuzzy Zeller, the defender, had a good championship at 3 over par. Corey Pavin and Jack Renner. Rick Fair the rookie pro who tied for low amateur last year. Greg Norman of Australia, who tied for this championship last year. Andy Bean and Don Pooley, who's the low stroke leader, believe it or not, on the PGA Tour. Ray Floyd sank a little bit today. Here it's a happy day for Andy North. And for all of us who have been working on this program, including our producer, Chuck Howard, our directors, Terry Jastro and Jim Jeanette, our update unit director, Bob Rosberg Jr., the technical directors, Werner Gunther, Gary Larkins, and Bob Bernthal, our associate producers, Ben Harvey and Barbara Donahue, the associate directors, Jack Graham and Ned Simon, technical manager, Bob Armbruster, Jeff Felger, and Bill Freiberger, and all the others. Now, let's go down to Greenside at the 18th and Jack Whitaker.
Well, Jim, I've got a very elated but exhausted Andy North here. Andy, if you can win the Open once, you might be lucky, but you win it twice, you got to have a lot of talent.
Well, I was awfully fortunate today. I didn't play very well. I drove in the rough every hole, it seemed like, and I started hitting some better shots toward the end, but you know, maybe get some of these guys off my back about what have I done lately. So, you know, it's great to finally win. Going through the years like I have the last three, you start wondering if you're ever going to win again, and it's, you know, it's awfully nice to do it.
Well, I think you gave us all an object lesson in courage. When you got the lead after that quadruple bogey, your driver was letting you down, your tee ball, but you never gave up.
Well, my rhythm wasn't very good today, and, you know, I don't know if it was just, you know, a little overexcited. I just never felt like I get calmed down, and, you know, you keep putting in the knee-high stuff every hole, eventually you're going to have some problems, and it caught up to me at 9, 10, 11. I hit some bad shots, but then I hit some better shots from there on and managed to make the birdie at the par 3, which was really a key turnaround.
How about the sand shot at 17?
Well, I've been playing really well out of the bunkers all year, and I hit such a terrible shot at 11 that it was such an easy shot, and I got a little too cute trying to, you know, really get it close. And it was nice to get another chance. I didn't want to put the ball left. I kind of told Mike, the kid's caddying for me, that I want it on the right part of the green. Even in the bunker, it's a lot better than having it 50 feet going over that crest. And I hit a terrible shot, and it ended up I hit a great bunker shot.
You certainly did hit a great bunker shot, and you were looking at it right now, I think. There it is. A very nice swing, and it almost goes in.
Well, that would have been pretty neat. I mean, I was very pleased to see it up there. I didn't have to mess with it.
Well, I bet the people in Madison, Wisconsin are very happy. Dancing in the streets up there tonight.
Well, it's a great Father's Day, I'll tell you that. I know I made my father happy, and I made myself awfully happy. So, you know, it's nice. It'll be nice to get home.
Congratulations, Andy. Thank you so much. Okay.